I am completely sold out of booth space, which I'm very thankful for.
The show runs until 7 today, 10 to 8 Friday and Saturday, and 10 to 5 on Sunday. Tickets can be purchased for $17 at ctflowershow.com or at the door for $20. WTIC News Time is 3:04. Checking traffic. We are still looking at road work. A lot of these projects are going to be wrapping up within the next half hour to maybe an hour or so. We still have some work out in New Britain on 84 East between 36 and 41. That is right lane. Down in New Haven, northbound side of 91, about 2 miles worth between exits 2 and 8, left and center lanes there. And we still have some work being done on Route 2, Weston Glastonbury, from exits 8 to 4 in the right lane. Middletown Route 9 south between 19 and 10. Right lane is closed there. Let's check in with Jason Caterina. He's got the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
For the rest of our Thursday, cold with sun and turning cloudy. The high of 30. You'll feel like it's in the 20s with that breeze out of the north-northwest. The breeze will pick up tonight for us. Otherwise, it'll be cloudy and quite cold with the low down to 18. Now, windy for us on Friday with a mix of clouds and sun. The high 31 is going to feel like it's in the teens and low 20s at best much of the day with the northwest winds at 15 to 25 miles an hour. Then Friday night, still breezy, otherwise clear to partly cloudy. Colder, the low down to 11. A partly sunny day on Saturday. The winds will subside some, the high up to 35. Then on Sunday, partly sunny, the best day of the weekend with the high moving up to 40. Monday, turning cloudy, the high right back to 40 degrees for us. Then Tuesday, cloudy with a little rain in the afternoon. It'll be damp, raw, and cold feeling with the high of 44 for us on Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
It's been an ugly day on Wall Street. The Dow down over 500 points, the NASDAQ off over 100, and the S&P is down 30 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. It's 3:06. I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News.
Men, this is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And though I generally talk about medicine and effective treatments for erectile dysfunction and other men's sexual health issues, today I want to talk about love, because love is the best reason to get treated for your ED. You see, ED can cause major relationship issues. In fact, men often push their partners away when ED becomes a problem. The condition can cause depression, arguments, breakups, and even contribute to divorce. But the good news is that if you're like most men suffering with ED, you can be successfully treated at Northeast Men's Health and put a stop to the relationship stresses that ED can cause. I say this with all confidence because we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. Truly, it's likely you'll find you're performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment and get the love back in your love life. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices in the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promedic restorative health practice.
At
1 minute.
in Northeastern Connecticut, we're not
You
just
got it,
talking
bro.
about change. We're leading it. Together, we joined forces with community partners
Welcome back, by the
and
way.
members to tackle
Yes, sir.
head on. Join us, stand with us, and unite to end poverty. Visit unitedwayinc.org to learn how you can help. Together, we can unite to end poverty.
There's a lot on the line in a divorce.
Stand by,
Your
everybody.
home, savings, retirement,
gonna
maybe
be a
even
barn
kids.
burner.
So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions it can take, you really need a partner you can count on. I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. We're committed to helping protect your personal interests and the life
In 10.
divorce take more than it has to. Talk to us today.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Hartford area attorneys. Phyllis McCutcheon, licensed in Connecticut. Online at cordellcordell.com.
Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, what I am about to do may very well upset people. But then again,
shit.
what else is new? What else is new? So before we get into it, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping. This is important that we do this. So before we do, tell your friends. You got somebody in Washington. You got somebody at City Hall. If you got somebody in Congress, if you got somebody who works near Congress, if you've got somebody who can spell Congress, get them now to listen to my voice. Because I have got to say some very mean-spirited things today. But before I do that, I must protect my colleague. Just one. Let me begin by saying this is not an indictment of my morning show host, Brian Shackman. Brian is a nice guy. He is a very nice guy. He and I don't always agree. We probably don't agree politically on a ton of things. But he is a nice guy. I respect him. And he is in the brotherhood of WTIC. So in no way is this an indictment of him. And I don't want anyone to get the impression that it is. But I do have to say something about the interview he did today with Representative John Larson. And my consternation is towards the representative, not Brian Shackman. If you listen to that interview, and some of you have listened to it twice because it played in the replay, you probably got the same impression that I did. Larson came in like a steamroller. Larson came in like a bat out of hell. There were barely any questions asked because Brian really didn't get a chance to talk to him, and it's over the phone, so it's a little difficult. And you want your guests to have an opportunity to talk. And boy, did I love to hear Representative John Larson talk. I was woken up this morning to a text message. Hey, Reese, you got to listen to Representative Larson. And I did. And then I listened to it again. And then I recorded it. And then I spliced it. And I had it ready for today. So let me first begin by saying, Representative Larson, sit down. I'm about to throw your retirement party here on WTIC today. It's time for you to go. You're not fit for the job anymore. It's not so bad that you're incompetent. What's worse off, what you did this morning on this network was a sea of lies. Not misstatements, not disingenuous comments, lies. And we're going to play your words to prove that. You won't need me to say that you lied. I'm going to play your lies. And everybody in City Hall is listening right now, and they know that what you said on this network were a sea of lies. You have not represented Americans well. And the Social Security Department is infested with fraud. And you know it is. Your biggest problem is the fact that Donald Trump and Elon Musk are exposing it. You've got no interest in solving the problems at that Ponzi scheme that is Social Security today. You oversee the Ponzi that is that scheme. And now you're mad because it's being exposed. Let me begin by setting the record straight. Elon Musk never said that people at the age of 259 are receiving Social Security benefits. That has never been a headline. What is a headline is that Social Security has living people at the age of 259 on its rolls. I have the quote here. I have the X post here. It can be seen by everyone. So suggesting that Donald Trump or Elon Musk said that you were doling out money to people who were 259 years old or 120 years old is a lie. No one said that, but Social Security clearly has those people living on the rolls. You know it, and so do I. That was lie number one. But I want to go a little backwards because you said something here I thought was very interesting. It's what you said to Brian Shackman at the end of the interview that I want to address. Here is what you said.
I enjoyed talking to you. I think you're fair and decent and balanced, too.
I want you to hear it again.
I enjoyed talking to you. I think you're fair and decent and balanced, too.
Let me tell you what that means, Representative Larson. I think you're fair and you're balanced. I want to thank you for not raking me over the coals. I want to thank you for allowing me to blather on without answering the questions that you were asked. I want to thank you for not making a fool out of me while I made a fool out of myself and lied to the American people. That's what you call fair. I tell this to my kids all the time. The definition of fair is subjective. There is no fairness. There's no litmus test. When a politician tells you that you're being fair, it means you didn't embarrass them, shame them, or hold them to account. That's what fair means to a politician, especially one like Representative Larson. But let's go back now. Representative Larson says, if I remember correctly, that they're not paying dead people. One, as I said, that was never charged. But here's Representative Larson's response to the idea that people in their 150s are on the rolls. Listen closely.
Well, that's the whole Trump effect, that they try to flood everything with headlines and distraction, et cetera. They don't tell you that it's been, what is Social Security administered for? It's the largest insurance program that the nation has. And insurance companies, for example, run with administration costs of 16 to 26%. What do you think Social Security administrative costs are for the people of the United States to serve over 70 million recipients? It's under 1%. And that's part of the problem, is that people don't have an opportunity to get through and talk to a human being and the person that they see. We need to expand that opportunity. And look, where there's any fraud or abuse or waste in any system, public or private, government or the private sector should work to stomp that out.
Representative Larson, are you working and helping DOJ to stomp that out? Of course not. Your marching orders to say to do opposite of that. Of course we should stomp out fraud. You could have started with getting those old people who don't exist off the rolls. But no, you chose to attack because it's a partisan issue. It's not about us. It's not about having those people off the rolls. It's not even about finding out if there's any truth to those people actually being paid on the rolls, or if illegals are using that data to get paid off the rolls. You didn't come up with solutions. You came up with attacks. But don't worry. I won't speak for you.
But this is the nation's most successful insurance program. It's the number one anti-poverty program for the elderly and the number one anti-poverty program for children.
Why? Why is Social Security the number one anti-poverty program? That doesn't sound like a good thing. That's an awful bad flex, my friend. Perhaps you think the audience is too stupid to know better. You're patting yourself on the back that Social Security is an anti-poverty program? That's not what it was designed for. Anybody here ever hear that before? Before Larson said that? anti-poverty program? So it's a welfare system?
10,000 baby boomers a day become eligible, and Congress has enacted to enhance the program since 1971, and now Trump and Putin are calling for its cuts in the program. That's where he's getting his $2 trillion from, and I'll get back to that.
Can't wait. So he, again, completely misrepresents Social Security, and then he calls Elon Musk Putin. What? Do you even know who you're talking about? There has never been an association with Elon Musk and Putin, but maybe you just misspoke. Maybe you just had a Joe Biden flub. I don't know if you, when you heard that, you said to yourself, why did he say that? That seemed weird. But he went on. And I'm going in different areas with this. Check this one out. This one's another favorite of mine.
I enjoyed talking to you. I think you're fair and decent and balanced, too.
Remember, fair, decent, and balanced. Here's more of Larson talking about balancing the budget.
Is there enough of fraud and waste in the Social Security system to balance the books?
Not even remotely close. Come on.
Stop. Did you hear the question? Listen to the question again. It's important.
Is there enough of fraud and waste in the Social Security system to balance the books?
That has never been the case. Doge is going through every facet of the administration, every facet of Washington, where your tax dollars are going. Social Security is not being used as the one place to balance the budget. They're going through all of them to find out what tax dollars are being used and abused to balance the budget, to make sure that there's no waste, fraud, or abuse anywhere. So it's a setup question. Listen to Larson's response.
Not even remotely close. Come on. You're talking about $2 trillion. And let's start at that starting point.
No. Larson, can we stay on what the question is? Can we stay on that? But no, he can't. $2 trillion. Now listen to the way, without evidence, using New York Times speech, without evidence, as he understands or tries to explain what the $2 trillion that they're trying to find in fraudulent expenditures by the government. Larson.
Why did Trump target $2 trillion, Brian?
That's what he wants in the tax cuts.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, exactly, because that's what he passed in tax cuts in 2017, right? But most people don't know that those tax cuts weren't permanent. They expire, guess when? 2025. Oh, and so then he brought in someone who doesn't have to get Senate approval, who's the wealthiest man in the world, and said, no, I'm going to put him in charge, unaccountable, outside of government, neither a government employee or a volunteer, but a special volunteer, something I can do as president, that will allow him to go in and make the cuts that he needs. Cuts for what? To balance the budget?
What? Where's the evidence, Representative Larson, that he isn't balancing the budget? Where's the evidence that says that he's not trying to balance the budget? Is there any? Is there any evidence that Larson can provide that says that what Donald Trump's trying to do is a bait and switch? None. This is completely made up. And remember what the backdrop of this is. They're finding corruption and fraud inside the federal government. At the same time, Representative Larson is trying to say, oh, in Social Security, it's peachy keen. It's all good to go. There's nothing wrong here. Everything at Social Security is great. There's no waste, fraud, and abuse that we could consider here. It's cool. This is my favorite. Another one.
No. he's been charged to get $2 trillion to make the tax cuts for billionaires that imploded the national debt by $2 trillion.
So explain to me how finding $2 trillion is helpful to get the millionaires and billionaires a $2 trillion tax cut. That's a bad thing? That if we find out that there has been waste, fraud, and abuse to the tune of $2 trillion, then we don't have to tax our rich and wealthy and they can continue to invest in their business, maybe hire new people and expand? Please explain to me, Representative Larson, especially a guy who lives in a state where you need more people to be in there. In fact, your governor works extremely hard to get people to move into the state. How any of that is a bad idea. So that millionaires and billionaires, the people who create businesses and create jobs, how this is a bad thing. And yet he seems to be somehow annoyed about that. The possibility that we could find trillions of dollars going on inside of our government that would actually help billionaires and millionaires grow businesses so that people have well-paying jobs, well-meaning employment. And he, in some way, is spinning this into a negative.
And the public shouldn't lose sight of that. Everything else you see coming out of that administration, all you have to do is go back to what their goal is and why he's getting that $2 trillion.
To save taxpayers tax money. There's no way to spin it.
It's because they want to make his legacy and that tax cut permanent.
His legacy. Larson, with all due respect, his legacy? Really? The guy who got elected out of nowhere, lost an election, won an election, got shot at, been impeached twice, had people trying to put him in jail, and now has a mandate. A legacy? The guy's already a legend. What are you talking about? The guy's more popular than Reagan. And that's saying something. What are you talking about? You think this is about ego for him? That's the best you got? When we come back, I got one more clip I want to play. But stick around, because I know a lot of you heard that interview today, and you've got a lot to say about it. But I'm not done here. There's a lot of stuff coming up in the next break. So stick around. Yeah, I've only got a couple of seconds. Plus, today we've got the Reese on the Radio question of the day. Wait until you hear this one. This one comes straight out of the mouths of Jasmine Crockett and Tubbs. You'll love this one. And, of course, the stupidest thing I've read today. That won't be here today, but we'll talk about that and a whole bunch of other stuff when we return. All right, so stick around. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC.
If you've been having your McDonald's sausage McMuffin with an iced coffee from somewhere else, now's a great time to reconsider.
Wake up to a warm sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50 and add your favorite any size iced coffee in caramel, black, or French vanilla for just $1.29 during breakfast hours only. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
It's our birthday. WTIC has been on the air for 100 years, and we don't look a day over 98. And now, a WTIC news update.
Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. State police say they have arrested a man in connection with a homicide from nearly 4 years ago. Under arrest is 35-year-old Timothy Lang, charged in the August 2021 death of 39-year-old Jason Combs. His body was found in a vehicle in a wooded area of Durkee Road in Summers. The suspect, Lang, now facing charges of felony murder and other offenses. Investigations underway in West Haven, where police say they found a man shot to death in a vehicle on a city street last night. The victim's name has not yet been released. It is the second homicide investigation in that city in less than a week. Office of the Inspector General says jail officers should have paid more attention to a woman who died in the Hartford Detention Center last year. 49-year-old Linda Prelo was arrested April 5th. She had apparently experienced detox symptoms from fentanyl use in her cell 2 days later. PURA Chair Marissa Gillette appearing before a legislative committee today, attempting to be confirmed for another term as the chair of the state's regulatory authority. Duracell has announced it is moving its research and development headquarters from Bethel to Atlanta. The battery maker cites a desire for modern workspaces and advanced technology infrastructure. Senate has approved Kash Patel as director of the FBI. WTIC News Time is 3:31. Jason Caterina's got the forecast.
For the rest of our Thursday afternoon, cold with some sun and turning cloudy, the high of 30, though it's going to feel like it's in the 20s with that breeze out of the north-northwest. Tonight, breezy, otherwise cloudy and quite cold, the low down to 18. Now, it's going to be windy on Friday with a mix of clouds and sun. That high 31 is going to feel like it's in the teens and 20s at best, with the northwest winds at 15 to 25 miles an hour sustained all day. Partly sunny on Saturday, less windy, the high up to 35. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
From the WTIC 24-hour traffic network in Plainville, 84 West, we're seeing about 2 miles worth of congestion from exit 36 to exit 32. Scene of a multi-vehicle crash. Should be off on the shoulder, but is slow getting by nonetheless. And out in Danbury on 84 West, we have the left lane shut between exits 2 and 3 due to a 2-vehicle crash. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Hey, it's Tom Shattuck. So I've been talking to you about Awaken 180 weight loss for a couple of years now. You've heard about my success, and many of you embarked on your own Awaken 180 journey, including my friend Phil, who decided it was time for him to finally lose the weight.
As I got older, I really finally figured out that I needed to drop some weight. First, I had a phone call, really nice young lady named Gina. So when I arrived, she was there to greet me. And then she took me over to the scale, which also measured body mass index. We talked about the program. She asked me a lot of questions about my lifestyle, what a typical day looks like.
Okay, so it's been a week now, Phil. You popped in yesterday for your weekly visit, and how did it go?
So when I got weighed in, I had lost 11.8 pounds, and I was just thrilled. Like, oh my gosh, this is tremendous.
11.8 pounds. Wow. We'll talk to you next week again, Phil. You can begin your weight loss journey as well. 844-346-1800 or get them online at awaken180weightloss.com.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1
Now, I just told this dude he got to call one line only, and he's still continuously calling two lines.
GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to goodrx.com/GLP. That's goodrx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Paid for by government. Now is the time to fill your vault with Morgan Silver Bars. Grab your piece of America's silver legacy with this special offer.
Good one, Rom.
These
I like
spectacular
that.
shining silver bars featuring a crisp image of the iconic Morgan Silver Dollar, a legendary coin that has captivated collectors for generations. Call now to secure 1-ounce silver bars, minted in 99.9% pure silver and made in the USA. Don't miss out on this special deal. Regularly priced at $49.95, but for a limited time, only $39.95. Save $10 per silver bar. Limit of 25 bars per customer. The more you buy, the more you save. Up to $250 in savings and free shipping on every order. Plus, with qualifying orders, you'll receive a free Morgan Silver Dollar. That's a $59.95 value free. Call 1-800-386-7195 now to secure your 1-ounce Morgan Silver Bars for only $39.95. That's 1-800-386-7195.
Ever feel like there aren't enough hours in the day? If you get busy or miss your favorite show, don't worry. With Rewind, available exclusively on the free Odyssey app, you can stream your favorite shows on demand. You know your day is better with us. Get the news that matters to you from the local voices you trust. No matter what you're up to, give it a try. To get started, download the free Odyssey app and search for your station. That's AUDACY.
Are you a proud Connecticut?
Hello, number 1 minute.
Two, with more than 45 years of experience handling business transactions for small and mid-sized businesses. And we know that not every business relationship works out as planned. If you find yourself in a dispute, call the law firm of Brown, Payne, Dearest, and Scott. Our team of business lawyers have over 100 years of combined experience. At BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer. You get a law firm. Call us at 860-CALL-BPS or visit bpslawyers.com. Nick Payne Dearest is responsible for the content of this ad.
The Connecticut Flower and Garden Show returns to the Convention Center in Hartford, February 20th through 23rd. Step out of winter and into an oasis of beautifully landscaped gardens. Breathe in the aroma of spring as you stroll through floral displays. Learn from gardening experts presenting over educational seminars. Get discount tickets at ctflowershow.com. February 20th through 23rd.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
And we're back. It's Reese on the radio. Listen, I want you to recognize that we know the game at this point. And the exposure of the Democrat Party when it comes to Doge is going to be Democrats' undoing, not just in the midterms, but for elections to come. Because the one thing that is important in all of this, and it has been something we have all known about since we were kids, you always heard it, conversation somewhere, even if you weren't a part of politics. You remember a time where somebody said to you, man, they be wasting our tax dollars. And here, Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, is getting access to the records inside government, finding the waste that John Larson knows is there. He admits it. I'll play it. But he has no interest in helping Doge find it. He could look like a hero. But see, the sad part is, Representative Larson, you're making yourself look like a stooge. You don't look like an independent, a man of meaning, a man of stature. Because somebody at your level, in his 70s, who knows they have fewer days ahead of them than they do behind should have the utmost integrity to your constituents. Because when it's over, it's over. But at least go out with dignity. Don't go out like this, my man. You shouldn't. But guess what? It's your choice. Here's one of my other favorite pieces from the interview today. Listen closely.
Is there enough of fraud and waste in?
No, that's not the one. This one.
Everybody applauds making government more efficient. And what has he done to make government more efficient?
Sent Doge in to clean the books.
Getting people's personal tax records, does that sound to you like it's getting government more efficient, Brian?
Why are you lying? Why are you lying? Where's the evidence that he's getting people's personal information? How is that not challenged? How do you know that's happening? Have you spoken to the president? Have you worked with Doge? Do you know even who's in the offices? Have you been down to Social Security to see what they're doing? Have you gotten an update at all?
Everybody applauds making government more efficient. And what has he done to make government more efficient? Getting people's personal tax records, does that sound to you like it's getting government more efficient, Brian? Does that sound to
why would he want to do that?
American breaking the privacy, et cetera?
What would be the nefarious goal of doing that, though?
Yeah, what would be the nefarious goal of getting people's tax records? Doge is there to find out what government's doing, not what we're doing. You've got our information. You've had our information. Why would Doge be in there to go and to look up our dirt when you know damn well they're there to look up yours? So Brian fairly asked him, what would be the nefarious reason for that? Listen to Larson's answer.
What would be the nefarious goal?
Yeah.
Oh, never start off by repeating the question. It means you don't have an answer. So he's thinking. Here's the answer.
How about privacy? How about the protections and belief? If you want to implode government and make people further distrusted, all you have to do is turn over all the information and data on every single individual.
To whom? Turn it over to whom? The objective is to find out who's cooking the books in government. Are you trying to do a bait and switch and saying that all Donald Trump really did was go in there to find out everybody else's information and he's really going to protect Social Security and make sure that it continues down its road of destruction? Is that what you're trying to tell me? That it's all a real boondoggle to really get everybody's information?
If you're okay with that, well, fine, that's your choice. But I think the majority of the American people, that's not what they voted for Trump for.
Yeah. He's doing what we voted for him to do. Rep. Larson, that was sloppy. Sad and sloppy.
Well, and by the way, have their grocery costs and inflation come down?
I love that one. Oh, that one's the curveball. Oh, and by the way, have the grocery prices come down? No, Rep. Larson. But if I could, can I take you back? I want to take you back to August 16th, 2023. Headline on John Larson's government website. Larson, 1 year later, the Inflation Reduction Act is lowering costs for families and seniors. This is still up on your website. Homie, please inform one of your tech guys, who clearly don't work for Doge, to scrap this page. This is on your website. August 16th, 2023, East Hartford, Connecticut. Today, Representative John B. Larson released the following statement on the 1-year anniversary of the signing of the Inflation Reduction Act, landmark legislation Democrats passed last year to lower health care costs, create good-paying jobs, deliver the most significant action on climate in history, and dramatically reduce the deficit. That page still sits, homeboy. What's the deal? You're riffing about prices coming down when back in 2023 you were celebrating a passage of legislation you told us would keep us out of the position that we're in now. You were celebrating the 1-year anniversary. What are you talking about? You're right. Our prices have not come down. And if I remember correctly, sir, that's because of you. Applaud yourself, silly. We like these paper trails. We love the receipts. We keep them coming. What else did he have to say? Hold on. Let me just get to that.
And the real kitchen table issues, that's what we have to be focused on. And listen, everybody in government should be about making sure that we're routing out fraud, abuse, and waste.
Why aren't you doing it?
But it's one thing to do it as a messaging tool with the goal of making sure that you have money to provide tax cuts, as opposed to actually making sure the government is run more efficiently.
You mean like you were in charge to do, but clearly did not do? Huh? The man's been there for 4 weeks. How long you been there? Huh? Remember the legislation you signed, we're not supposed to be in this position. The reason why we're trying to find where all the money is because people have been literally taxed out of house and home. What happened? I couldn't believe when he said it. Have your grocery prices come down? No, because of you. Let's go to my good friend Matt in Bristol. How are we doing, sir?
Hello, Reese. How you doing, sir?
Pretty good.
Or Mr. Hopkins. I'm sorry. Sorry. My mind is all flustered right now. So what did he call him? In what? What was the word he used?
What do you mean?
Brian Shackman. He goes, you're in something.
I don't remember the word. I'm a little lost.
Okay, that's all right. But I do like the way you use nice guy.
Yes.
Because nice is a 4-letter word. So I kind of know where you're going with that.
Oh, no, dude, I'm not a nice guy. You see, first of all, Larson will never, ever come on a show like mine. Like most Democrats, they would never come on. And I would probably say, I could say something like, oh, they're cowards. No. They're not cowards. They're shook. They're shook. That's something different. They're shook. Because they know that when they come here with the talking points, I go, no, stop. Answer that. I need to unpack that stupid little line you just said. We're not going to sit up here and start throwing bullet points out that you have to go through a list because we're not on the phone. That's all they do. They look at a list of things. Make sure you touch on that. Make sure you bring up this. Make sure you... No. We're not just going to run through these line-by-line items where you get to just say anything you want to. We're going to explain, or at least explain to us, why those things are true. So when I hear this nonsense talking about have your grocery prices come down, John Larson's a reason why those prices are as high as they are in the first place. But guess what? You'd have to get him on the phone long enough to ask him, hey, buddy, the reason why Donald Trump's got to reduce those prices is because of a bill you signed.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, Reese.
Yeah.
From now on, I sold my house, so instead of Matt from Bristol, just say Matt Homeless. Can you do that for me? No.
I'll put Matt Homeless in Bristol. By the way, make sure you're listening earlier. I got to give you some kudos about a new benchmark we're doing on the show.
Okay.
All right. Let me go to Bob's in his truck. How we doing, Bob?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right. What do you got?
Well, it's one thing I don't like about Social Security is if I was able to take my money from Social Security over the last 35 years and put it in the stock market, I wouldn't need government to take care of me.
Right. And again, don't you think it's a little bit of an embarrassing statement by Rep. Larson to say that it is a welfare or poverty preventer? That's not what this is. You have been paying into your Social Security. The job that you have pays into Social Security. It should never be described to you as a poverty preventer.
No, it shouldn't. And if you ever see that video on YouTube where a representative or a congressman was talking about if he had taken his money that he put into Social Security and was able to put it in the stock market like a 401k.
Yes.
need to have between $4 and $6 million in an account.
And
he said,
you know where
he
you're
said
right,
the
Bob? Let me
government
tell you
does-
where you're right, Bob. Here's the interesting part. Think about this. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was just on a podcast with Jon Stewart on his weekly podcast, and she openly admitted that members of Congress in the Democrat Party are committing insider trading while they sit on committees in Washington. Because
I've known that forever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So imagine if those people who are clearly, gaming the system had taken Social Security numbers, Social Security money, and done what they have done with their own personal finances. Social Security would be like the biggest bankroll in history. There would be no conversations.
Well, my thing is if I had, say, $2.5 million in a separate bank account that didn't get into Social Security, I could actually stay in my house when I retire.
Yep.
It wouldn't fall in around me. I could afford to put a roof on it, put a boiler in it, and stay there and not have to move into assisted living or government care.
And you would probably still have enough left over for like one of those visiting angels people or something,
Well, I probably have enough left over. Because that doesn't count just your 401k that you put into it over the last 30 years, right?
Indeed. Yeah, you're right. But
that when I died, I could will that to my daughter, put her as a beneficiary. She could have close to $2 million and be able to pay off her student loans that the government wouldn't have to do.
Exactly the point. That's the reason why Doge is so important. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate. Oh, was it Bob? Yeah, Bob. Thank you for holding on, man. I appreciate you. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll get into the rest of your phone calls. I promise. We've got a lot of stuff to get into, and I know you guys want to jump into this conversation as well because I know you heard the John Larson conversation earlier today. I've got one more soundbite to play when we return. So stick around. It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Paid for by GLI LLC.
This is an important message for anyone who's on Medicaid and needs home care. Did you know that a family member, close friend, or even a neighbor can get paid to be your caregiver in the comfort of your own home? That's right. If you're on Medicaid, your child, grandchild, friend, or someone else you know and trust can be paid per hour to be your caregiver through a Medicaid-funded program. Just call 800-606-4420, and SilverCare will help you hire the loved one you choose to be your caregiver. SilverCare is based right here in Connecticut. As your neighbor, nobody cares more than SilverCare about getting your caregiver paid the best rates on time. If you're on Medicaid, this service is absolutely free for you. Just call 800-606-4420 right now. Get the home care you need from a loved one or known friend, and they can get paid to help you at home. Just call 800-606-4420. This service is absolutely free to you, and your relative or friend gets paid to be a caregiver. Just call 800-606-4420. 800-606-4420. 800-606-4420.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ziprecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. And subscription plan.
Got it.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, HIMS can help. Through HIMS.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED. but Hims can help. Your free online
sir.
visit and save up to 95%. Go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
President of the Chris Murphy Fan Club, Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Let me go to Tom in Thomaston real quick. Tom, you there? Hold on. He's actually sorry.
Hey, yeah, I'm here.
Hey, what's going on, sir?
We got to give Larson not much. We
Good.
got to give Larson a little slack. Remember, he just had his stroke medicine adjusted, so it might take him a little while to get back into the groove, you know?
You know what? I thought about that in a lot of ways, which is part of the reason why I say that he should step down, right? Because in a lot of ways, this is a dignity thing, right? I get that you have to toe the party line because it's Donald Trump. He's the boogeyman. But what he's doing is disingenuous to his voters, to his constituents. And he knows that. He's got to know that.
It's so disingenuous because he's a congressman. He knows that Congress hands out the money. All Musk can do is point out where the waste is.
Exactly.
It's up to the Congress to do something about the dollars.
Yeah, and this is... Thomas,
it's so disingenuous.
Tom, this is where the problem lies, right? So you always have to understand that the boogeyman is never called Satan. And that's the reason why they don't. They call it's the boogeyman for a reason. You fear him because you're not supposed to understand him. And Elon is the boogeyman. And Elon, again, is a guy that you can't buy, you can't influence because he has everything. So you demonize him to an unknowing public. Because what he is going to do, a guy who has everything can expose people who are taking and stealing. And if he has the influence that Larson does not have, that Chris Murphy doesn't have, he knows that turns the, let's just say, the ill-informed and the uninformed against them. And they know that what he's about to expose is going to hurt their credibility for legions.
Yeah, they never bring up FDR had his group of geniuses help him, and Kennedy had the Harvard boys help him.
Yeah,
that's the same thing that Trump's doing.
This is everything that's happening. They cannot thwart. They think it's working because they keep saying the same thing over and over again. Platitudes like your information is being sought after. Please don't tell me the nonsense about the information. You guys are the same ones who wanted to keep TikTok, even after they found out that the Chinese government was gathering everybody's information. Remember that? Yeah. These guys didn't have any problem with that.
I'll leave you with this, Reese.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll leave you with this, Reese. It's another proof that I say that the morning guy is a Democrat, because the Democrats only come on with him. They won't come on and face you because they're afraid.
Well, I think they're shook. But like I said, look, Brian is a nice guy, and he gives the latitude to the guest. He's not there to be adversarial, right? And if he doesn't agree, I mean, he'll disagree in some ways, but he's not there to be adversarial. My job, I'm a henchman.
Yeah.
No. Listen to me. That's fine. But listen, I'll put it to you like this. I'm a henchman. I'm a hitman. That's my job. No one gave me that job. I took it. I took that job. I am the hitman. I take the hits too, though, mind you. Let's get a first check of our traffic with Mark Christopher at the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark, how are you?
He used to play the hits. Now he is the hitman.
No doubt.
There you go. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, 84 eastbound, look for delays about a half mile before 46th Avenue. Into the tunnel. Westbound 84 is a little slow. 48 out to 46th Avenue. Southbound 91 delays 33 down to 32A and B. And then you'll see some slow traffic, sluggish traffic 23 down to 21 in Cromwell. Northbound 91 slowing 21 up to exit. Looks like it's about exit 22, the Route 9 interchange. After that, a little slow getting by 25, 26 in Weathersfield. And then a good ride Hartford up into Windsor. 291, 384 okay. East of the river, 2 eastbound moving well. Glastonbury into Marlboro. If you are heading 9 northbound into Middletown, look for delays from exit 22 up to the Aragoni Bridge. Heading into Waterbury, 84 westbound's a little slow at the Mixmaster, and again by exit 18 in Waterbury. If you're traveling toward New Haven, 91 in the Parkway, both doing very well. Traffic and weather together on the 8 WTIC News Talk 1080.
If better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today and start the year off knowing you're giving your liver some well-deserved relief.
You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Thursday afternoon, cold with some sun and turning cloudy, the high of 30, though it's going to feel like it's in the 20s with that breeze out of the north-northwest. Tonight, breezy, otherwise cloudy and quite cold, the low down to 18. Now, it's going to be windy on Friday with a mix of clouds and sun. That high 31 is going to feel like it's in the teens and 20s at best, with the northwest winds at 15 to 25 miles an hour sustained all day. Partly sunny on Saturday, less windy, the high up to 35. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest. WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Despite opposition from some Republicans and the state's major utilities, the legislature's Executive and Nominations Committee is expected to reconfirm Marissa Gillette as Commissioner of PURA, the state's utility regulator. She says she was not involved in a last-minute deal between the governor and lawmakers that will reportedly make PURA a quasi-public agency and add 2 additional members to its board. At a hearing of the committee this afternoon, lawmakers asked Gillette how PURA can reduce electric rates. She said the state should look at solving the problem of uncollectibles or customers who can't pay their electric bills.
But how do we really get at that issue for the individual? Because it really is all of our problems, because when that person can't pay their bill, it goes into a bucket that's socialized across all ratepayers at the end of the year by law.
She says PURA is focused on reducing volatility in the market. President Trump's choice to lead the FBI has been confirmed by the Senate.
Republicans are unwilling to break with those within Trump's orbit. This comes after an intense pressure campaign for the likes of Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard, and Robert F. Kennedy, 2 senators who were just on the fence, some not even openly talking about their reservations for these candidates.
Correspondent Torian Small, the 51-49 vote was along party lines. For the second time in less than a week, police in West Haven are investigating a homicide. Got the call last night actually, around 11:30. That's where they found a man in the back seat of a vehicle slumped over. Vehicle was parked at Terrace Avenue near Glad Street. They've not released the victim's name as yet. A person had been shot in the head. It was last Saturday, of course, when a young mother and a toddler were found stabbed to death in a city apartment. President Trump's Ukraine envoy, Keith Kellogg, met with Ukrainian President Zelensky in Kyiv today amid rising tensions over ending the war with Russia. Kellogg and Zelensky were initially expected to hold a news conference together, but that was canceled at the last minute. A Ukraine spokesman says the U.S. requested the cancellation. More from the BBC's James Waterhouse.
As senior members of Donald Trump's team engaged directly with Moscow, Kyiv hosted Keith Kellogg, the U.S. Special Envoy, who Ukrainian sources suspect has been sidelined by the White House. A press conference was planned, but then apparently cancelled by the Americans.
State Inspector General's office has now issued a report on the death of a woman who was being held in the Hartford Detention Center last year. Report states that on April 7th, 49-year-old Linda Prelo was found unresponsive in her cell at around 3 a.m. She was later pronounced dead at St. Francis Hospital. Prelo had been arrested 2 days before. She told the booking officer at the time she had previously used fentanyl. The report says Prelo had experienced detoxification symptoms on both April 6th and 7th. The report goes on to say that Prelo told authorities she didn't want to go back to the hospital. An autopsy found that Prelo used fentanyl while incarcerated before she collapsed.
Teamsters vowing action against Stop and Shop. WTIC's Morgan Cunningham explains.
Representatives from the union in Boston say that they're working to fight, quote, Stop and Shop's blatant union busting and threats to strip workers of their health care, end quote. They also cite threats to subcontract work and close up the Freetown, Massachusetts distribution center unless Teamsters give up their union health care plan. The Teamsters representatives argued that Ahold Delhaize, the Dutch-Belgian parent company of Stop and Shop, brought in $94 billion in sales last year, but that, quote, greedy, morally bankrupt executives are demanding sacrifices from the very workers who made that success possible, end quote. The statement goes on to threaten picket lines with their warehouse workers at every Stop and Shop in New England. WTIC News Talk 1080's requested further comment from Stop and Shop and Ahold Delhaize. Morgan Cunningham, WTIC 1080 News.
Wall Street closing bell report sponsored by Bouvier Insurance. A day to forget. Dow down over 450 points. NASDAQ down 93. S&P down 26. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
I'm Rick Julius. Cordell and Cordell. For over 3 decades, Cordell and Cordell has been on the front lines of family law. Divorce is more than just a legal process. It's a life-changing event that can impact your future, finances, and your relationship with your children. You've worked hard to build a life that you're proud of, and you deserve a legal partner who will work just as hard to protect it.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Hartford area attorneys. Phyllis McCutcheon, licensed in Connecticut. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Connecticut hospitals care for more than just patients. They care for our workforce, creating 245,000 jobs. They care for our economy as the largest employer in Connecticut. They care for our communities, connecting residents to health screenings, nutritious food, and stable housing. And they care for making healthcare accessible, equitable, and affordable. Connecticut hospitals create real change by caring for Connecticut. Learn more at caringforct.org.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
We're going to do something a little different today. Normally, we would do the stupidest thing I read today, but I want to do something called the Reese on the Radio question of the day. Let me play this clip and tell you what the question of the day is afterwards. This is Representative Jasmine Crockett in Tubbs. You might know her as Shaniqua. This is what she said on ABC News when Donald Trump had suggested giving some of that money back to American citizens to the tune of $5,000.
Now, President Trump says he likes the idea of giving some of the savings from DOGE back to Americans as kind of a dividend. Would you support that?
Listen, he's just telling a lie. He's not the one that had anything to do with the $1,200 refunds that people had during the midst of COVID that was done by a Democratic House and Democratic Senate. Right now, what they're going to do is say, hey, we want to give you a refund, but Congress won't let us because they already know that there's just no money for that. The only reason that those refunds came before was because we were living in different times. This was a time in which hopefully we won't ever go through again. We had a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. The bad part is that I don't know if it's once in a lifetime because we know that Ebola, unfortunately, was detected right here in New York here recently. And if we continue down this road of getting rid of scientists or deciding that we don't want to rely on experts as it relates to what they're telling us to do, or we don't want to deal with vaccines and medicine in this country, then we may be facing not only our next pandemic, but our next 2, 3, or 4 pandemics.
How is she not struck by lightning? Somebody should just be struck by lightning right now. Hold on.
Because of their incompetence. So no, we are not in the business of giving out money. And honestly, I don't know what $5,000 will do for you.
Do you agree with Jasmine Crockett in Tubbs? Do you not need $5,000, or is that a penance? Is that nothing? Let's go to Mark Christopher, the BPS Traffic Center. Mark, $5,000. Would you sneeze at $5,000 from the government coming back to your pocket?
Coming back?
Yeah, just, I mean,
Of course I would
they're
take
going to say
that.
$5,000 coming to you. Do you think that's a penance, or would that be, what would you do with it? It's like,
Well, just as long as we were starting to chip away at the incredible debt that we have.
Yeah.
What are we, 35
Trillion.
now? So, yeah, I'd rather see them, whatever savings would like to go toward that because every time you knock that down, that's less interest we're paying, and that means they could probably send more money back to us.
That's true.
But until they make an effort to knock that down, and layoffs ain't gonna get it done. They're gonna have to go after some of the defense spending.
Yeah.
But the whole thing here is, hey, I like the idea that they are trying to reduce some of the spending in the federal government. I would have liked, though, a little bit more of a plan instead of just everybody just, okay, 10% you're going. I like to say, okay, let's look at this. Oh, there's fat here. Cut the fat. But I think nuclear scientists are.
That was it. Listen, I'm not going to lie. That's a self-own if there ever was
that's
one.
Just like, but that's what I wish. I wish they had done that November, December, January. Really looking at things where the fat was. And
but you're a yes.
That.
But you're a yes on $5,000 if they can find a way to give it back. Okay, good.
Oh, of course.
Well,
I think my wife and I looked at it, state, federal, and local taxes. The first $3,000 we make every month goes to state, federal, and local taxes.
Damn.
It's insane.
Yeah, of course you could use that money. That's what.
But that's what happens when you're $35 trillion in the hole. You're paying a lot of interest on that money. That's why our taxes are so high.
Indeed.
It's not that hard to figure out, folks. Wake up. I'm not blaming you. I'm blaming the people that make these decisions.
There you go, buddy.
You're heading into Hartford right now. Chris Murphy. We're $35 trillion in the hole. 84 eastbound, we are looking at delays 46 into the tunnel. Westbound 84 is a little tight, 48 down to 47. Southbound 91 is a little slow at 33 Jennings Road. If you are southbound on 91, look for some slow traffic between 23 and 21.
Man, come up off them 5 racks.
A little tight as you move up on exit 20.
I could flip that.
Indeed.
291, 384 okay east of the river. 2 eastbound moving well Glastonbury into Marlboro. 9 northbound slows Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound, you're looking at delays from 22 up to exit 18 in Waterbury. And if you're heading toward New Haven, 91 in the Parkway, both moving well. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, it's chilly out there, and as we head through the rest of tonight, it'll be breezy as well. The low dropping down to 18 with that northwest wind kicking up to 10 to 20 miles an hour. It's going to feel like it's down in the single digits overnight. Still windy for us as we make our way through Friday with clouds and sun. The high 31 will feel like teens and low 20s with the northwest winds up to 15 to 25 miles an hour. Now, they'll subside some for Friday night, otherwise clear to partly cloudy, bitter cold with the low down to 11. Partly sunny Saturday, the high of 35, then partly sunny on Sunday, the high moving up to 40 for us. Right now, it's 27 in Danbury, 28 in Bridgeport, 29 in Bristol, and 30 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Traffic on I-84 in Hartford keeps on moving slower, but at Columbia Implant Center, we're only getting faster, providing you with specialist care assisted by cutting-edge technology. 1 day, same day, 7 days a week. Visit ColumbiaImplantCenter.com.
For quality vinyl siding, the Peter L. Brown Company is your best choice. It's winter, and we need to keep our crews busy, so ask us about our winter specials. Please visit peterlbrown.com for roofing, siding, windows, and doors.
Joel Johnson here with Johnson Brunetti. We do free financial workshops all over the state. One is coming right to your neighborhood. Topics we cover are how to make sure you're not going to run out of money during retirement, estate planning, and also investment risk management. Call or text the word workshop to 1-800-705-1232 to receive more information on our free financial workshops. Just call or text the word workshop, 1-800-705-1232.
Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance products offered through JN Financial, LLC.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually. Well, how about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 10% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries.
Now, President Trump says he likes the idea of giving some of the savings from DOGE back to Americans as kind of a dividend. Would you support that?
Overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term. Based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you, and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
The self-proclaimed love child of Rush Limbaugh.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Don't forget, we got the question of the day. Would you frown at $5,000 that I guess Donald Trump is considering called Doge dividends? But after we find all the waste, fraud, and abuse, just giving it back to, or at least some of it back to taxpayers to the tune of $5,000. Jasmine Crockett and Tubbs has a problem with it. And I'll play the audio later. But if you want to call in on that and all of the subjects we're talking about so far, of course, give us a call at 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Let's get to the phones. And Rick is in Hebron. Hello, Rick.
Hey, Reese. I just wanted to give you some information on a Newington website. On Facebook, there's a town hall forum with Larson tonight, Thursday, from 6 to 7:30. It came out a couple days ago. I tried to get tickets for it, but the tickets are already sold out.
Of course.
And they're going to have State Representative Gary Turco, Katie Farrar, Matt Lesser, and Mayor John Pritzker, all Democrats there. And, of course, this is a staged event because they don't want to allow any Republicans or people that might have questions that they don't want to answer to come.
Exactly the case.
I just wanted to let you know about that.
Well, I appreciate it. But see, that again, what they're doing is, and it turns out, because Matt in West Hartford, again, studious and dogged on getting this information, aside from the fact that these events are being paid for by taxpayers, but they're putting out feelers early and then releasing it to the public after it's already sold out to keep out what they consider the ne'er-do-wells, anyone who's going to challenge them. So all of their cronies, they get invitations first.
Yep. And do you know that Augie and Ray's in East Hartford actually made a breakfast sandwich, and they named it after John Larson. I don't know what the name of the sandwich is, but it's because he spent so much time in there.
Oh, really?
They have a breakfast sandwich named after John Larson. You go on Augie and Ray's website, and you'll probably be able to find out what it is.
Well, now that you mention it, now I have to talk to my folks over at Between Rounds and see if they could get a sandwich for me over there for a limited time.
Hey, there you go. That'd be great.
I think so, too. Thank you, boss man. I appreciate you. Let's go to my good friend, White Mike, who's in Florida. How are you, sir?
Hey, man. So these Democrat politicians, I've noticed a lot of them are really vocal and seem to be kind of older.
Yes.
And then there's the obvious moron contingent who are an excellent argument for eliminating representative democracy, like Maxine Waters,
sure,
and, AOC and this bunch. They don't understand how powerful the alternative conservative media is, and how wide their reach is. We know what Doge is finding out.
Oh, yeah.
We know. We've seen it. I just saw a story about some foundation called the Purple Mountain Foundation.
Yeah, I heard that briefly. So it went like by my page, but I was looking for something else, and I heard about that. Do you know what that's about?
Yeah, so it's run by the wife of some former British politician.
Okay.
And they were, I kid you not, given millions of dollars to teach classes about degenerate modern art to Afghan women.
Right. And the modern art that was shown on there, that's why I knew it passed by me. One of the art pieces that's in the clip was a urinal.
Yeah. They they described it in the class as the first example of modern degenerate art. It was 100 years ago because some artist put graffiti on a toilet.
Yes.
So
yes.
We know the nonsense this is being spent on, and these people don't think we know, or they're so isolated they don't know. They're just defending the status quo. And all these stupid liberal people who are attacking Elon Musk are just playing team sports, man.
Yeah.
That's it. It's their religion, as we've said before.
I'll tell you the part that's really, really I find alarming online. And again, these people should spend more time there. what I'm finding here, and maybe it's something, maybe it isn't, maybe you'll tell me, White Mike, I'm finding more minority groups, especially black men, online on Twitter, on Facebook, and on, not X, TikTok. More black men are screaming to the rafters their support of Elon Musk and what they're finding. It's like there's a whole bunch of these black men who are on there, and younger guys who are screaming about what Democrats are doing, and they're castigating all of these Democrats, talking about, you're mad that we're finding out what you guys have been doing with our money. And I'm like, I've never seen this kind of like insurgency.
Well, it's starting to get to the why aren't you taking care of me argument.
Yes.
And while I think it's the government's place to take care of us, I would much rather they spend hundreds of billions of dollars on something like, I don't know, modernizing air traffic control or fixing some bridges or, I don't know, how about reduce my tax burden?
Yeah.
How about that?
But you know what, you mentioned something really, really good, because it's sort of like one of those things like, I remember you famously said on the show, and it was one of the first times I had heard it, was what is it? The way that you phrase it was risking the good for the perfect. How did you phrase that again?
The enemy of good is perfect.
Right. The enemy of good is perfect. What I like about this is that even though there were a lot of these young kids from minority groups who were talking about what Doge is finding, the reason why they're upset is because they are the ones who have always viewed in the inner city that it's government's job to take care of them cradle to grave, the nanny state. It's something that they were all brought up with. So now that they know, they keep asking themselves, or they've been asking themselves for generations, why doesn't the government use any of that money on the rest of us? Why don't they make sure that we're out of poverty or give us these loans or that loans? So now Elon Musk comes along and turns around and finds out that their money is going to illegals, for them to get houses, for them to get jobs, for them to get cars, for them to start, seed money to start businesses. And the nanny state is now looking at it and going, oh, now we know why you're not giving us the money, because you're giving it to those guys. And it doesn't matter, because the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So I don't care that these people think government should take care of them. I'm glad that they're paying attention to where their tax dollars are going and why it's not going to them.
Yeah. Man, I'm okay with the U.S. kind of having our thumb on the rest of the world in some way. I mean, we have to maintain global order. We have to keep these podunk countries in their place. I get it. And if we have to depose a leader every now and then or put down a communist revolution, that's just the price of freedom. But that doesn't include tranny operas in Chile.
Yeah.
Gender education in Nepal. I mean, look, man, everybody's freaking out about Russia and Ukraine, right? I promise I'm getting to a point. Everybody was like, well, why is Russia so anti the West? And why did Russia invade Ukraine and all this? And, a lot of it, of course, is the military reason that, Ukraine was kicking the crap out of people in the Donbass and executing Russian speakers. And that's the truth. Okay. Nobody wants to talk about that, but Ukraine kind of picked this fight a lot.
Yes, they did.
But what Russia sees when when America especially comes to Europe and exports our culture is cultural destruction. And this is not helping our case at all. Well, we're not, poisoning the world when we see that we're spending billions of dollars on this perversion that's only there to destroy countries. I mean, they were pushing LGBT stuff in Armenia.
Yeah, Nigeria even. I mean, in places that didn't even make sense.
Dude, Armenia is the oldest Christian society on earth.
Yeah.
But you notice we had no such programs in neighboring Azerbaijan.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah. And again,
nobody's pushing the rainbow mafia stuff in the Muslim countries. Why is that?
Exactly, because probably it wouldn't last 5 minutes, much less 5 seconds. That's exactly right.
Oh, real quick, did you see the bunch of Maori face down the Pride Parade in New Zealand?
No, but I'm going to go look at it later. I know about it. I'm going to check it out. I got some other stuff that you're going to love also, White Mike, that involves Barack Obama. I'm sure a lot of you saw the video, but we'll talk about it later. Let's go to our good friend Fred in Middletown. How you doing, sir?
Hey, good. So I have a response. I would frown on the 5K, but a real quick anecdote about angry, entitled poor people. So I haven't even cross Liberty Street to go to the soup kitchen in, years.
Yeah.
But I've been a patron. And 12 years ago when I had a girlfriend, we hung out there and, knew the whole scene. And I was forever hearing people, by the by, everyone helps out. You're in the basement and you see the stock. I was forever hearing people talk about this, bounty of food and skimpy portions. And, what are they stealing it? What's up? And so there was this woman who was this very unique, salt of the earth, rolled up shirt sleeves, but also certified and in the system,
right?
Who I could talk to about it. And I relayed that to her, and she goes, well, federal regulations say 4 ounces of a protein, this many ounces of something,
Wow.
And so there's regulations saying don't put as much food on their plate as you could well afford to. By the by, they are glutted with food. I'm talking St. Vincent de Paul specifically. But once you take that first little thing from the federal government, it's nothing but a fish hook in you.
That's what it is.
And about, so you can't win.
No.
So people think the soup kitchen is stealing it. The denizens, so to speak, are angry and feeling ripped off, and of course they do feel entitled.
Right. Of course. Of course.
And you can't leave salt and pepper shakers out on the table. But as far as that money for the 5K, John Lennon has a line. Just give me some truth. Something about money for soap, money for dope, money for rope. When we got that previous stimmy check, I know someone whose their sister works in rehab, and they got flooded and glutted, man. That money, I have this thing, like if I wanted half the people I know, if I wanted them dead and I had like a $10,000 budget, there's 2 ways I could do it. I could hire a hitman for $10K, or I could just give them the $10K and they'll be dead in 3 months.
Wow.
By their own nose, vein.
That's exactly what I didn't understand that either, but I get your point. I totally do. I got to go to a break soon, buddy. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I always appreciate you. Speaking, when White Mike was talking about that Ukraine thing, Larson talked about that as well. I want to play that audio in a little bit as well, but also I still want to take your phone calls on the question of the day. $5,000, something to sneeze at. Jasmine Crockett and Tubbs doesn't think that you should get that money back in the Doge dividends back from the White House or from government as well, primarily because she probably doesn't think you've been stolen from. She probably believes that that money was earned. So we'll talk about that. And, of course, your phone calls at 860-522-WTIC. And you know what? Maybe I should play. Let me see if I can play a little bit of what Larson said about NATO. Here it is.
Trump talks about peace, but when his peace is in line with A, withdrawing from NATO, abandoning our NATO partners, and then abandoning the Ukrainian people for Putin, no, I'm against that. Does he make some legitimate points about NATO and their contributions? Yes, he does. And they should contribute more, and they are stepping up. But the United States withdrawing from our most successful alliance and with our European allies and counterparts, I do have a problem with that.
There's so much I could take apart on all of that. I really don't believe that John Larson knows what he's talking about. He has a very rudimentary view on foreign affairs, just from that speech in and of itself. But maybe there was a reason for that. Let's get another check of your traffic with our good friend Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. If you're heading into Hartford, westbound 84, tied up Oakley Bridge, out to exit 46 Avenue, 84 eastbound delays, about a half mile before 46 up to 48 Capitol Avenue. Southbound 91 slowing by 33 Jennings Road, slowing again by exit 22, and the Route 9 interchange in Cromwell. A little tight again as you move 18 to 17 down toward the Wilbercross Parkway in Meriden. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 291 through 84 okay east of the river. 2 eastbound moving well, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound delays Harbor Park up to the Aragodi Bridge in Middletown. 84 westbound you're going to see sluggish traffic from exit 26 in Cheshire up to exit 18 in Waterbury. 95 southbound New Haven slows 46 down to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Thursday, cold with sun and turning cloudy. The high of 30. You'll feel like it's in the 20s with that breeze out of the north-northwest. The breeze will pick up tonight for us. Otherwise, it'll be cloudy and quite cold with the low down to 18. Now, windy for us on Friday with a mix of clouds and sun. The high 31 is going to feel like it's in the teens and low 20s at best much of the day with the northwest winds at 15 to 25 miles an hour. Then Friday night, still breezy, otherwise clear to partly cloudy. Colder, the low down to 11. A partly sunny day on Saturday. The winds will subside some, the high up to 35.
Thank
then
you, Scott.
On Sunday, partly sunny, the best day of the weekend with the high moving up to 40. Monday, turning cloudy, the high right back to 40 degrees for us. Then Tuesday, cloudy with a little rain in the afternoon. It'll be damp, raw, and cold feeling with the high of 44 for us on Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Hey, it's Eric Erickson. I hope you'll tune in to listen to my show every weeknight at 6 right here on WTIC News Talk 1080. I'll break down the news of the day, everything from national politics down to the battle at the local school board. I'm not going to give you the party line, no predictable red meat. I'll give you the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, and what's going on in this insane world. I hope you'll join me. The Eric Erickson Show, weeknights 6 till 9 right here on WTIC News Talk 1080 and on the free Odyssey app.
And now, a WTIC news update.
4:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. The Senate has confirmed Kash Patel as director of the FBI. Final vote today, 51 to 49. An arrest in a nearly 4-year-old homicide case. Timothy Lang, reputed motorcycle gang member, now charged in the 2021 death of Jason Combs of Wilbraham, Massachusetts. His body was found in a remote area of Summers in August of 2021. Investigation is underway into a fatal shooting in West Haven. Officers called to an area of Terrace Street last night around 11:30. They found the victim in a car slumped over with a gunshot wound to the head. Police are investigating. The battery maker Duracell, moving its research and development headquarters out of Connecticut, will shift those operations from Bethel to Atlanta. Vatican says that Pope Francis' clinical condition is improving slightly, adding that he went about his work activities today from the hospital where he is recovering from double pneumonia. Connecticut End Homelessness Caucus is doubling down on a push for $33.5 million in the state budget to go toward funding homeless services in Connecticut. Group held a news conference earlier today in Hartford. Hearing is continuing in Hartford on Marissa Gillette's reconfirmation. That has been going on for several hours now at the Legislative Office Building. And big hockey game tonight in Boston. It's the final of the Four Nations tournament between Canada and the U.S. Last time these two teams met, 3 fights broke out in the first 9 seconds of a 3-1 win by the Americans. Wall Street, the Dow finished down 450 points today. The NASDAQ lost 93, S&P down 26. NBA back in action after the week-long All-Star break. Celtics are in Philly to face the Sixers. The Knicks at home to face Chicago, and the Nets are hosting Cleveland. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Hey, it's Tom Shattuck. So I've been talking to you about Awaken 180 weight loss for a couple of years now. You've heard about my success, and many of you embarked on your own Awaken 180 journey, including my friend Phil, who decided it was time for him to finally lose the weight.
As I got older, I really finally figured out that I needed to drop some weight. First, I had a phone call, really nice young lady named Gina. So when I arrived, she was there to greet me. And then she took me over to the scale, which also measured body mass index. We talked about the program. She asked me a lot of questions about my lifestyle, what a typical day looks like.
Okay, so it's been a week now, Phil. You popped in yesterday for your weekly visit, and how did it go?
So when I got weighed in, I had lost 11.8 pounds, and I was just thrilled. Like, oh my gosh, this is tremendous.
11.8 pounds. Wow. We'll talk to you next week again, Phil. You can begin your weight loss journey as well. 844-346-1800 or get them online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Paid for by government. Now.
Wait a minute.
Fill your vault with Morgan Silver Bars. Grab your piece of America's silver legacy with this special offer. These spectacular shining silver bars featuring a crisp image of the iconic Morgan Silver Dollar, a legendary coin that has captivated collectors for generations. Call now to secure 1-ounce silver bars minted in 99.9% pure silver and made in the USA. Don't miss out on this special deal. Regularly priced at $49.95, but for a limited time, only $39.95. Save $10 per silver bar. Limit of 25 bars per customer. The more you buy, the more you save. Up to $250 in savings and free shipping on every order. Plus, with qualifying orders, you'll receive a free Morgan Silver Dollar. That's a $59.95 value. Call 1-800-386-7195 now to secure your 1-ounce Morgan Silver Bars for only $39.95. That's 1-800-386-7195.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
By the way, I got to make sure to mention that Dave and Apple of Prepare to Unfriend, the new podcast on YouTube, they're going to be joining us at about 5:15 today. We'll talk to them about what they'll be talking about on Friday. Their show airs every Friday. If you want to catch it, just go to reeseontheradio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. Married couple, conservative, 2 children, 3 children actually, but one is grown. The other 2 are very, very young. And they just talk about how they navigate through life and how people, once they started talking about what they believed in, decided to unfriend them. And so they talk about their daily lives, talking to people from all stripes in the business and the jobs that they do, how they get to raise children, young children, in the world today with everything being political, no matter what it is. It's social, economic, it's all, for some odd reason, it all runs downstream into politics. So we'll talk to them. They're going to talk a little bit about the Alicia Ortiz story, and that is, of course, the young lady who graduated from Hartford High School, I think it was, and she ended up at UConn. She can't read or write. So we'll talk to them about that around 5 o'clock. And, of course, we're taking your phone calls about the question of the day. Jasmine Crockett, representative of Texas, says that she doesn't know what you would do with $5,000. Saying no, she is not in favor of giving back the American people $5,000. And it's easy to figure out why she would be against that. And that's, and it's crazy. I get so many things that I can say about this, but I only have a little bit of time. So in a minute and a half that I have, let me explain it like this. Imagine Donald Trump finds billions, hundreds of billions of dollars in savings, and he starts paying down the debt. And then he decides the American people have been fleeced. And in a political move, whether they be Democrat or Republican or absolute haters of this administration, he gave them an opportunity to give them some of their money back that has been wasted. Why would Jasmine Crockett be against that? Well, the answer is obvious. You don't need to be a rocket scientist like Elon Musk to figure it out. They know that they would stand in opposition of that. No matter what, they would stand there in opposition of it. And that would be lasting, or at least up to the midterm elections. And anyone who is opposed to that money going back to the hands of the American people, Democrats would look like a joke. He knows that they will reflexively be opposed to it because it's a Donald Trump policy. And by opposing it, because they can't resist that, they can't resist the raw meat of objecting to something Donald Trump would do, it would be their undoing. And that's the reason why he proposed it. To get their response in public. By just saying it, it becomes a conversation that they have to be opposed to. And the American people go, damn, Jasmine, I just want to get my hair did, girl. Roland is all for it. I asked Roland. Roland said behind the scenes, give me that $5,000. Roland, what would you do with your $5,000 before we get to Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center? What would you do with your $5,000?
Flip it to about 15, 20.
You would flip it, right? You would flip it. You know what I would do? You know what I would do, Mark Christopher? It's real simple.
Okay.
I'd give it to my wife because she'd never let me see the light of day. She would never let me hold on to that
She
money.
would. Would it be forced savings if you gave it to your wife?
Do you know, just last week, I actually canceled my own personal bank account so that all of our money goes into one. A bank account I've had all my life, and she just told
Wow.
me, she just put it in, we have a joint account now. Get rid of it. Wow. So I got rid of it. So I would never see the money anyway. So
well, that's that's in a way that's a good thing. You got to save some of your money. No
you know what?
question about that.
I would call it a Valentine's gift from Trump through me to her.
There you go. That's why I love. That's why I love the 401k that we have here. And you have direct deposit. You don't see that money, you don't miss it.
Yeah, there you go.
And hopefully you live long enough to be ever enjoy it when you retire. So
That's
we'll see
true.
what happens there. There's no guarantees in life, as you know. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, westbound 84, you've got delays approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound slows about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 91 southbound, a little tight, 33 down to 32. Again, you'll see a little slow traffic from exit 19 to 17 for the Wilbur Cross Parkway in Meriden. Looks real good, 91 northbound Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 291, 384 okay east of the river. 2 eastbound moving well Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound delays Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound sluggish from 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. South 95 New Haven slowing 46 down to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Tonight it'll be breezy, otherwise cloudy and bitter cold with the low down to 18. Feeling like it's down in the single digits with the strong northwest winds. Then windy as we head through Friday as well with a mix of clouds and sun, the high 31. Northwest winds up to 15 to 25. Going to make it feel like it's in the teens and low 20s much of the day. Still breezy for Friday night, otherwise clear to partly cloudy, the low down to 11. Then a little bit of a warm-up over the weekend. Saturday, partly sunny, the high up to 35. Sunday, partly sunny once again, the high up to 40. Turning cloudy Monday with the high back to 40. Right now, it's 30 in New London. It's 28 in Mansfield, 30 in Meriden. It's 30 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
O'Reilly Veriscan is a free check engine light testing program that pulls from over 600 million vehicle scans confirmed by ASC certified technicians to provide a simple report and possible fixes available exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
There's a lot on the line in a divorce. Your home, savings, retirement, maybe even kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions it can take, you really need a partner you can count on. I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. We're committed to helping protect your personal interests and the life you've built. Don't let divorce take more than it has to. Talk to us today.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Hartford area attorneys. Phyllis McCutcheon, licensed in Connecticut. Online at CordellCordell.com.
We all hear the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
It's Reese on the radio. Ask your doctor if common sense is right for you. On News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Plenty of people on the phone lines, 860-522-WTIC. My good friend Mark in West Hartford is here. And Mark, if I didn't thank you yesterday, thank you for hooking me up with Sergeant James Rutkowski yesterday.
Well, thank you. I learn every time I hear that man speak. And look how brutally honest he was.
He was.
When
He
you
made
asked
news.
him
He
about
made
the
news.
Mayor,
Yeah.
Oh, about if he's going out of his way for a DEI hire. You know there's not too many union presidents. I'm going to tell you, I don't care what union. that will come out and tell you how they feel.
Yeah, that was, listen to me,
know,
I don't care what anybody says. When he said that, he made news. So I'm surprised that no one picked that up, that he said, look, he believes that the mayor is making folks in the police department hold out or wait for leadership so that he could find the perfect DEI hire. That's a news story.
He should be a regular guest, maybe a few times a year. Just
Oh,
to
no,
keep us up to
listen to me.
date.
I'm already way ahead of you, my friend. Way ahead of you.
Yeah. So before I get to the question of the day, I got to tell you. Well, first of all, I got to tell you. I always say this when I hear people talking about monies and wives and everything. I love my wife so much, but I always said I always wanted to divorce her just so I know what it's like to keep at least half my money instead of giving her all of it. It must be a wonderful thing when I hear these guys always complaining.
I don't
I
complain.
gotta
There's
give her half
nothing
my
for me
money.
to complain anymore. She gives me 3 hots and a cot. That's what.
So I love it. Listen, so I just sent you something. I literally forgot that I engaged John Larson last year for a full 8.5 minutes. And guess who talked for 6.5 minutes of the 8.5 minutes?
You did.
Me. Yeah, because I did the opposite of the Brian Shackman. He didn't know what to do because I would literally, I brought up my mayor in West Hartford, Sherry Cantor, and I mother you-know-what her. And then afterwards, he goes, well, I like Sherry. It was beautiful. And then I went after Bob Duff, and I went after Richard Colangelo, who got rid of 76% of, dismissed criminal cases. So I was hitting them up on you guys.
But wait a minute, hold on. I want to
down.
stop you for a second before we get into the weeds here. Listen, that was the reason why I said what I said for Brian Shackman. I listened to that interview 3 different times because there were places where I wanted to clip and cut, and I was going to add Brian in some of it, but I said, no, that's not necessary. If you listen to that interview in its original form, and you can online, by the way, go to WTIC, download the Odyssey app as well, so that you can listen to it. You even hear Brian a little bit gets flustered because Larson comes in like a bull in a china shop. It's like even if he had a bunch of questions for him, he never got to him because Larson just comes in and just starts literally turning over tables.
That's why I got to figure out. I think I got to get a blue check mark. I got to talk to my friend. I don't know how to do this stuff, but I can't put a long format interview, and it is long, but it's worth it because I did exactly like I said, the opposite of Brian, and I think most people will enjoy it because you don't get a chance to hear politicians have to stand there and get dressed down, and that's what I did in a respectful way. I dressed him down and told him everything wrong that I could in 8.5 minutes, but he couldn't do anything but stand there. And then at one point I threw data at him, and he goes, well, I'll have to look at the data. When I told him, I know these figures, 76% of blah, blah, blah. And, I'll have to look. No.
Can I give you the code?
I know it, and you don't.
Let me help you with the code. When the interviewee says that I have to look at the numbers, all he's saying out loud is, I'd like to see them so I can manipulate them in my favor. That's what.
Yeah. Well, I kind of mentioned that through the whole interview, Bob Duff manipulating and your manufacturer.
Yeah.
I got to get it up on Twitter. When I do, I'll let you know. Now, the one thing, did I hear John Larson mention something about Trump wanting to he's doing something for a legacy?
Yes, he said that he's saying that all of this, finding the tax cuts for billionaires, right, and getting everyone's personal information is for legacy, so that Donald Trump didn't secure his legacy, which again is a laughable proposal coming from Larson on Donald Trump. I mean, the guy has been famous for 4 decades now? 5 decades? Give me a break, man.
Well, are you familiar with his 100-year solution? And no, it's not a Nazi policy. Are you familiar with John Larson's 100-year solution?
Is this about
This was in 2016.
The tunnel?
It $10 billion. Now Connecticut DOT, which is always 70% of the time underestimating projects, put it at $50 billion.
Wow.
And that's just in Connecticut. But his grand scheme is a $1 trillion.
Is this supposed to be like the big dig? Is this like the big dig in Boston?
It would have been the big dig. I looked at the plan. If there was a fire or a bad accident, the way they designed it, we wouldn't even be able to get into the tunnel.
Holy moly.
This guy was just off. Yeah. So anyway, so talking about legacy, he's willing to spend $50 billion of taxpayer money. I'm sure we'll get some from the Fed, but even on a national level. So look at the legacy. Another pig at the trough. You know, his legacy is making sure his friends, family, and their grandchildren will be rich. But hey, and then can I get to the question? So Rick was on a couple of calls ago, and we would have referred to Jasmine, you know, that saying, diarrhea of the mouth.
Yeah.
Because, boy, did she have diarrhea of the mouth. And I'm thinking, like, you know what? In Connecticut, if somebody's going to be born under the Husky plan and get $18,000 to $20,000 under the baby bond plan, let's call this the Boomer plan.
Yeah.
And give me my $5,000. I'm not a pig at the trough. I'm going to get maybe a quarter of what these babies are going to get before they turn 18, you know, when they turn 18.
Exactly.
And I'm supposed to think twice about getting $5,000. So let's call it the Boomer bond. How's that?
Yeah,
so
I agree.
I'm going to wait for mine to come. Yeah.
Hey, listen, I think, look, even if he's bluffing, even if he's just putting chum in the water to get Democrats to be opposed to it, it's still a win-win because Democrats are probably going to lose their minds if it possibly gets passed by Republicans. But we'll see. Thank you as always. Hey, and by the way, I'll put the video together for you of the Bob Larson thing. Since you sent it to me, I'll upload it and I'll send it to you so you can post it.
It's just an audio.
I got it. Yeah, I got the audio. I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. You got it,
Thank
boss man. Now let's go to, you know what? Why not? Tim is in Hamden. Hi, Tim. How are you?
I am fine, thank you, Reese. I would like to, first off, I congratulate the radio station is running ads from the Food and Drug Administration, and this is the truth, about pig flu in this market. So all you farmers, all you pig farmers here in Connecticut, all hundreds and hundreds of you pig farmers should be very, very worried about the pig flu. I'm not joking. That's running on either Odyssey or TIC about pig flu. I hadn't heard that.
Okay.
So
I'm not exactly sure what that, I don't know what that means. But anyway, what did you really call about?
Well, I really called, talking about this $5,000 allegedly that you're going to get. Well, do you remember the big promise that was said over and over at rallies about there's going to be no tax on overtime and no tax on tips and stuff? None of that exists in the current Republican, plan for the upcoming sessions. No one's offered that. So in the words of P.T. Barnum, a sucker is.
Oh, wait a
born
minute. So wait.
every
Well, hold
minute.
on. So you are now suggesting that 4 weeks in, because we haven't seen it, that means promise is broken. Am I getting you right?
No, I'm talking about the Republican Party. It has to go
Again,
through Congress.
I'm well aware of that, but I'm going to try it one more time. Tim, I'm going to try it one more time. 4 weeks into a 4-year presidency, you're telling me promise is broken?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, I didn't know
And
that.
I will take that. I will take that bet. 100 times. I'll
Let's take the
buy
bet.
a
Let's
case
take
of
the bet.
soda, a
Let's
case
take
of
the
beer,
bet.
Anything like that.
Let's take
they
the
will
bet.
Never put in. That,
Let's
thing
take
about.
the bet.
Okay.
Okay,
So
now
that
wait.
is why I'm-
Let's put the conditions of the bet on the line now.
What?
Yes, I want to put the conditions of the bet on the line. Okay? Let's go with just which one do you want? Do you want tax on tips and tax on overtime? Do you want it all, or do you want to take them
I
individually?
want it all because he made.
Okay,
both
then
of
fine.
them.
We'll take them all. Here's what I want. Here's what I want if I win. I want Tim in Hamden to take 6 months sabbatical, calling any radio station or anywhere online talking politics ever. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 6 months. I don't want you talking about politics in the entertainment business. You take a 6-month sabbatical, never discussing anything related to politics, no matter what. You go ixnay on the conversation, for 6 months. What are your conditions if
what is
I
your
win?
offer?
No.
What is- yeah,
Okay,
is
what do
yours?
you want from me if you win? Oh, by the way, do you
basically,
accept my
a little bit
terms?
of- a little bit
Do
of-
you
a
accept
little
my
bit of-
terms?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, I love it. Okay,
Absolutely.
what are the terms you set
Okay,
for me?
just, the idea of bringing in more people into the studio with different points of view. Rush used to have the liberals and others, go to the front of the line and everything. I mean, I love these, quote, all-stars that are on every single day and everything, but maybe some
You're one of them.
Points of view.
Okay, you know what? I'll put it to this way. How about this one? Tim, I'll go one step further for you. I'll carve out an actual time for you to be on once a week, and we'll call it Tim time if you win.
Tim time. Oh, okay. So I will accept those terms, absolutely. But let me just finish up by this thing. The conditions, the so-called 5,000, where if you actually read it, was that if we balance the budget, like that is going to ever happen to begin with. It has to be passed by Congress, which will never pass.
Okay, so you're saying tax on tips, no tax on tips, and no tax on overtime. That's all we're talking about on this. You're not talking about the whole balancing the budget thing. You throwing that in now too?
No. I'm talking about your original question about the 5,000. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay.
This is a P.T. Barnum kind of.
Hey, I'm not listening to me. I'm agreeing with you, Tim. What did I say? I said before we took this call, and I said it with Mark in West Hartford. The simple thing that I said was, even if it's nothing more than throwing blood in the water, throwing some in the water for the Democrats to jump on, which they do reflexively, as do you. Every time Donald Trump says something, you guys wake up and say, what did Trump say? Trump said what? He said something.
No, but it's the low information Republican voters.
Oh, stop it. The low information Republican.
Will sit there and go, I want my $5,000.
No.
That's why I support Trump.
If you were listening,
what are the results?
If you were listening to this program, I simply said, would you, because Jasmine Crockett says, what would you do with $5,000? Well, you know what? Let's go one step further, Tim, since I got you here. Donald Trump sends you $5,000, and you think it's a boondoggle. You think it's a joke. Do you send your check back? Do you send your check back? Do you send your check back?
No, I will use it to pay for my increased. I will use it. Let me tell you, and everybody should use it because your health care coverage will still go up 10, 20%.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, all I wanted to know was Jasmine Crockett said she doesn't know what you would do with $5,000.
That is why I'm not a Democrat.
But
That's why I'm saying.
But you're anti-Trump, and if Trump sent you $5,000, you would eat it. You would eat it up like a bunch of chips. You know you would. Anybody would. It's okay.
Absolutely. And I will leave you with this one. I'll try to get a little singer in before I leave. I know a way we can save $18 billion a year, and that's take the subsidies away from Elon Musk, including Tesla. Which why are we subsidizing the electric cars like that in Tesla? And
that's because of your green. Listen to me. Your green new scam. It's all of that green energy stuff. Now, all of a sudden, you don't want to give subsidies to electric vehicles anymore?
Talk about a conflict of interest.
Well, no. I'm just saying, when Elon Musk didn't pick a side, you guys were willing to do that all day, every day. Let's give subsidies to electric vehicles. Stop it.
Subsidies.
It's a nice try. That's okay. Listen to me, Tim, I just appreciate the fact that, one, you took the bet. I didn't think you would.
When's the deadline?
The
When's
deadline?
The deadline for the...
We got 4 years. We got 4 years. Relax. We got 4 years. Yeah, I'll be here for a while. You'll be here for a while, as long as you eat your vegetables. And don't eat any of the pigs, because I hear there's a concern out there about
They get disease. All right. See you later.
Don't eat the pigs, Tim. Don't eat the pigs. I'm sorry. That's horrible. There's such mean things. Tim, they love you out there. They love going after him. I'm going to read what people wrote in the comments real quick. No, they're funny. They're really, really funny.
I give him credit. He comes back. He's a fider.
Is it crazy? I almost feel like sometimes afterwards I'll say to my wife, "It's like, yeah, I kind of beat up on Tim today." She goes, "He must be a sadist because he comes back."
Comes back for more. I know.
God bless him. Hey, here's Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, westbound side of 84 slowing, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound is slowing 44 Prospect Oakwood down into the tunnel. 91 southbound is slowing 33 down to 32 A and B. If you're traveling south of that, a little slow in Meriden, 19 down to 17 for the Wilbur-Cross Parkway. Northbound 91 moving well. Middletown through downtown up into Windsor. Now, if you are on the westbound side of I-84, you're seeing some slow traffic as you move out into the Waterbury area. You've got delays 26. It's sluggish up to the Mixmaster. Heading down in toward Middletown, northbound 91 northbound Route 9 delays from Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. If you're heading down in toward New Haven, southbound Parkway a little slow as you move down by the West Rock Tunnel. South 95 tied up 46 to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Thursday, cold with sun and turning cloudy. The high of 30. You'll feel like it's in the 20s with that breeze out of the north-northwest. The breeze will pick up tonight for us. Otherwise, it'll be cloudy and quite cold with the low down to 18. Now, windy for us on Friday with a mix of clouds and sun. The high 31 is going to feel like it's in the teens and low 20s at best much of the day with the northwest winds at 15 to 25 miles an hour. Then Friday night, still breezy, otherwise clear to partly cloudy. Colder, the low down to 11. A partly sunny day on Saturday. The winds will subside some, the high up to 35. Then on Sunday, partly sunny, the best day of the weekend with the high moving up to 40. Monday, turning cloudy, the high right back to 40 degrees for us. Then Tuesday, cloudy with a little rain in the afternoon. It'll be damp, raw, and cold feeling with the high of 44 for us on Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
It's 5 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Marissa Gillette is on track to be reconfirmed as chair of the state's utilities regulator, PURA, Public Utilities Regulatory Authority, after a hearing with lawmakers on the Executive Nominations Committee today. Here's WTIC's Dave Maker.
Despite a 5-hour grilling by lawmakers, Gillette is enthusiastic about another term as PURA chair.
I really and truly love this job. I really like this subject matter.
And says she'll continue to be fair in regulating the state's utilities. Opposed by those utilities, her reconfirmation was ensured by a last-minute deal, a deal panned by Senate Republican leader Stephen Harding.
And what was done in the dark of night, in the 11th hour, to get certain people to vote yes today, presumably, is one of the worst things I've seen in politics in this building.
As part of that deal, Democratic Senator John Fonfara will join the PURA board and back Gillette. Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
For the second time in less than a week, West Haven police are investigating a homicide. They say just after 11:30 Wednesday night, they received a report of a male slumped over in the back seat of a vehicle parked on Terrace Avenue near Glad Street. Officers determined the victim had been shot in the head. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Right now, the victim's name has not been released, nor has a motive for that shooting. Anyone with any information is being asked to contact West Haven PD. Last Saturday, a young woman and a toddler were found stabbed to death in an apartment on Malloy Road. Trump loyalist Kash Patel has been confirmed in the Senate as director of the FBI. The vote was 51 to 49. Two Republicans, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska and Susan Collins of Maine, voted no. Critics of the choice say there are concerns. Former federal prosecutor and Loyola Law's Lori Levinson.
Real concerns about whether he would retaliate against FBI officials who assisted, for example, in the January 6th investigation, and in general, how he will relate to today's FBI.
Hamas has returned the remains of a woman and her two sons who died in captivity after the October 7th, 2023 attack on Israel.
It's a somber day of mourning here in Israel because the Bibas family is a symbol of the agony of a nation. So there's grief, but also a sense of closure that these hostages have returned home and will get a proper burial in Israel.
That's CBS News correspondent Robert Berger in Jerusalem. Several goals of Connecticut's End Homelessness Caucus For the remainder of this year's legislative session been outlined comes as 5,000 people are homeless in our state, an increase of roughly 13% over the last 3 years. The group is requesting $33.5 million in this year's budget for homeless support services in the state. Connecticut Coalition to End Homelessness CEO Sarah Fox says both the caucus and several key events are raising awareness of the need to address the issue in Connecticut and elsewhere.
Walks like the coldest night of the year are helping to raise critical awareness about what it means and what it takes to prevent and solve homelessness together.
And the Senate gave Mitch McConnell a standing ovation after he announced today, his 83rd birthday, he'll not seek election to another term.
Representing our Commonwealth has been the honor of a lifetime.
McConnell has been in the Senate since 1984, was the longest-serving leader in the history of the chamber. On Wall Street, the Dow finished down 450 points today. NASDAQ lost 93, S&P was down 26. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Coverage varies by plan. 1 minute. At EnduranceWarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again. So, call 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
And we have to make sure that we mention you can win an opportunity for 4 people, you and 3 others, to be on the Disney Destiny Cruise. If you download the Odyssey app, if you haven't done it already, download it now, and you got to listen to at least 1 hour a day. And guess what? Reese on the radio is on 6 of those 7 days. That's right. All you have to do is listen an hour a day. Yep. And that'll immediately make you eligible to win a Disney Destiny Cruise for 4. So do it today. And also, we got the last but not least caller of the day coming up. So you can win a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel, Bakery, and Sandwich Cafe. I am dead serious about them making a sandwich in my name. I'm trying to figure out exactly what I should call it, though. What kind of sandwich? I think it's got to be peanut butter and jelly with Reese's Pieces in it. That sound gross? Does that sound gross, by the way?
Yes.
Why does that sound gross? Why would that be gross? Reese's peanut butter, like Reese's Pieces inside of a peanut butter and jelly? It's decadent. It's almost like eating cake.
It's disgusting.
No, it isn't. What's wrong with you? Yeah, a lot of people put candy inside of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I mean, it's nothing more than bread and sugar, for crying out loud. I think it's a good idea. If you think otherwise, you let me know.
I've never heard of that before.
What's that?
Putting candy inside a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Peanut butter? What do you
That's
think
disgusting.
Reese's Pieces is?
So are you not using jelly?
Well, you could. Wait a minute. So you're just saying, okay, maybe we could just do... Well, that sounds like that's an overkill of peanut butter. It'd be chocolate. So, yeah, it'd be peanut butter, jelly, and Reese's Pieces. I think that works.
Oh, it does not.
Why not? What is wrong with you?
It's disgusting.
It's. You have anything better that you can think of?
Yeah, fried peanut butter and jelly.
Fried peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, you fry it just like a grilled cheese.
Okay.
Saute the pan with butter.
Okay.
Put your bread in there, toast it up real good.
Yeah, but where's the Reese part?
Hey, there's no Reese parts.
How does it get to be a Reese sandwich without the Reese part?
Everything's not about you, man.
It is if it's my sandwich. What are you talking about? And so the Reese part is the most important. You're just talking about food. I'm talking about a sandwich in my name. That's what it would be included. Mark Christopher, the BPS Traffic Center. And you know what? Jason Catarina, if he's listening, he's like, probably not. Peanut butter, jelly, Reese's Pieces in a sandwich, Mark. Too much? You can be honest. If it's disgusting, it's disgusting.
I wouldn't eat it. But if you like it, you like it. I mean, peanut butter jelly is a classic American. It's just a matter of adding a little candy to it.
Just a little bit. I'm not talking about bombard it with candy. I'm not talking about dip it in candy.
Okay.
I'm going to try it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try it today, and I'm going to let everybody know what it's like.
Yeah, let us know how it is. Now, what kind of bread are you going to use?
My wife is literally sitting up here saying no. Oh, pumpernickel. No, not pumpernickel. Maybe
that's disgusting.
Cinnamon raisin.
Wow.
That's even grosser.
Even worse.
My wife is telling me, no, you're not allowed to eat that.
You know what? You experiment. I mean, maybe it'll catch on. You never know.
I think it would. I think it would. First of all, Richard in the chat room said, talk about a glucose stupor.
Oh, man.
It probably would be.
Oh, absolutely. Your blood sugar would go through the ceiling after one of those sandwiches. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, westbound 84 looks slow. East Hartford approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45. Flatbush Avenue, 84 eastbound slows about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue. Down to the Bulkley. Southbound 91 delays 33 to 32 A and B. You're going to see a little slow traffic in Meriden, 19 down to 17 for the Wilbur Cross on 91 South. 91 northbound looking good. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 291 through 84 okay. East of the river. 2 eastbound moving well. Glastonbury and East Marlboro. If you're heading into Middletown, you're okay. 9 in the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound is a little tight of 26 to 25 A in Waterbury and again by the Mixmaster. And if you're 84 eastbound in Newtown, delays 10 to 11. South 95 slows 46 to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
I mean, I had a friend that used to put potato chips in their sandwich, but Reese's Pieces sounds kind of gross. Anyway, tonight it'll be low down to 18, but it's going to feel like the single digits with the strong northwest wind, which is going to crank up even more for us as we head into Friday. So windy with a mix of clouds and sun. The high 31 will feel like upper teens and low 20s for us with that strong west-northwest wind at 15 to 25 miles an hour tomorrow. Friday night, still breezy, but the wind's beginning to subside for us. Quite cold, the low down to 11. Then as we head through the weekend, a bit of a warm-up, partly sunny, the high 35. Less wind for us on Saturday. Sunday, partly sunny. Again, just a light breeze out of the west-southwest, and the high up to 40 degrees for us on Sunday. Right now, it's 22 in Waterbury, 27 in Danbury, 28 in Bridgeport, and 30 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay from 5 to 6 p.m.
I got to get
Tumulo
Jason
Financial
Catarina's
Retirement Planning with Integrity
clip.
on
I gotta
WTIC
get that.
News Talk 1080.
Oh, okay.
$15 O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card after rebate and receive
Now, what
2
did he
times
say in full? He said,
rewards
because my
when
wife
you
was
buy
talking to me at
5
the same
quarts
time.
of
He said the
Castrol
peanut butter
aged
jelly is
full
okay,
synthetic
but
motor
the
oil. It's
No,
great.
he said he used to have a friend that used to put potato chips on it, but Reese's Pieces is disgusting.
He's kind of gross.
All month. That's right. Why have a President's Day weekend sale when you can have it all month? Only at Bertera Subaru Outlet in Hartford. Brand new Crosstreks. Buy for just $24,495. Lease for just $259 a month. Or take the financing for as low as 0%. Brand new Foresters. Lease for just $279 a month. Or get a new Outback for as low as $249 a month. Or buy one for $27,995. With Bertera's outlet pricing, buy a Subaru Ascent for the low price of $32,998. Or lease for $279 a month. This month, get up to $4,250 off MSRP on select new Subarus. The President's Day sales event every day at Bertera Subaru Outlet in Hartford, the dealership with the largest Subaru inventory in the area. Exit 33 off I-91 at the corner of Weston and Jennings, or online at BerteraMotors.com. Check it out for all the President's Month specials. Call 888-799-1150 for details.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a time...
1 minute.
Important announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley...
You need just a regular Reese's peanut butter. They make that.
Or
Oh, that's true.
You do that with the jelly and you straight.
canceling
Okay,
your
so
timeshare,
Reese's
don't
peanut
fall for it.
butter
If you really
and
want out
jelly.
of your timeshare,
There you go.
Okay.
immediately, or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Yeah, Tim.
Info Kit, 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
Reese on the radio is getting ready to drop some knowledge on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Okay.
Drop it.
We figured it out. We're going to do Reese's peanut butter because they actually make one and jelly. But someone did say something in the chat room and said it's got to be on a bagel. So that's what we can have between rounds do to make it perfect. So that will be the Reese sandwich. I'll propose it. I'll send a memo to the folks over at Between Rounds. Don't forget, you can get a chance to win a bagel, a dozen bagels a month for 6 months from Between Rounds. The bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe, located in South Windsor, Vernon, and Manchester. So anyway, we'll get to that. And of course, as I told you, our good friends Dave and Apple are on the phone from the podcast Prepared to Unfriend, and they are broadcasting. I'm assuming they're filming their second show today, or has it already been recorded?
Oh, no, we're procrastinators. We're doing it today.
Okay. All right, Apple and Dave from Prepare to Unfriend. You can find their podcast on my website, reeseontheradio.com, if you're interested in finding out. So I told everybody that pretty much the premise of your show is talking about once politics started to infiltrate everywhere in the world, no matter what you were talking about, whether it would be at the school district, at home, with your neighbors, somebody had something to say about politics. And when you guys started expressing yourselves about what you thought was important to you and your family, some of your beliefs got people to no longer be friends with you. Dave, in particular, had family members unfriend him and refuse to talk to him after arguments. I remember that when Dave and I first met.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's still happening, Reese.
Yeah, so you guys... I don't say that to pat myself on the back, but I'm assuming, inspired by me, you guys have been watching my podcast for quite some time. Dave is always plucking me for information about what news stories are going on. And you guys said, you know what? We've got something to say. We've got two young kids. They're growing up in an educational system that's very shady and very, misguided.
That's putting it lightly.
Yeah, well, yeah. And you guys, I thought was interesting. Apple and I had a conversation the other day. Their children are very intelligent. In fact, their son he's in a gifted class now. I remember when you found out that his teachers had recognized he was gifted and wanted to promote him.
Yes. Yeah, he's been in the gifted program now since he was in 3rd grade, and he is now in 5th grade. He's actually, we're gunning for the math and science program at one of the middle schools. We're just waiting to hear if his application was approved or not.
So, and with that, now think about this, folks. So you got a child that the teachers are telling you, hey, we think your son is gifted. And I'll never forget when Apple called and she was just celebrating. It was like she found out that she was gifted. but and I think that's how any family feels, because they live vicariously through their children. But she found out he was gifted. She couldn't wait to tell everybody. There was like phone calls and phone calls and phone calls. And then imagine that's happening with the backdrop of finding out post-COVID, they're graduating and promoting kids socially, no matter how bad they're doing, or even if they're not showing up for school, which...
it is such a disappointment.
Talk about talk to me about that. Yeah, talk to me about that. Like with both of those things going on simultaneously, your kid being gifted and children being socially promoted. What was your response to that as parents?
So here's the thing. We have a gifted child. They've actually been testing Abigail this year. She's probably going to go gifted next year as well.
Okay.
My kids work very hard. They are upset when they miss school because they know there's important stuff going on. And it's heartbreaking to know that there are parents out there that are going with this. And I'm sorry, but I feel like it's almost criminal on the parents' part. You know, it is our responsibility to raise our children so that they can take care of themselves when they fly the nest.
Yeah.
And these, the parents are not taking responsibility to educate their children. The school system is failing us miserably. And I'm sorry, you're going to pass a child that doesn't even go to school, for what? We're doing nothing but dumbing down the next generation, and we are in big trouble.
We're talking to Dave and Apple from the podcast Prepare to Unfriend. Dave, let me ask you this, because, and again, I know you guys personally. You guys had an at-home tutor for the children. She was sort of like an au pair. She lived with you folks, and she was an education. What was Rebecca's role? What kind of work did she do?
She has a teaching degree. She's a teacher.
Right.
Her degree is in early childhood development.
Right. So Rebecca,
we owe her a lot for their education.
Right. So during COVID, and of course in their upbringing, in both of the kids' upbringing, this girl was responsible for taking care of two full-time working parents. And she, again, with this early education degree, was making sure that these kids were sitting down, learning every day. And of course, the result is they end up being gifted. But Dave, my question to you is you've got a gifted son who's crazy about cars. He loves hanging out with you. His only downside is that he's an Eagles fan. But you know what? We forgive. We forgive. But what you see this stuff, and you are, we're talking like you're a at-home, bald-headed, gun-toting conservative with a gifted child. And the tattoos, right. Rocker, guitar player guy who's a conservative, who's got a gifted kid, seeing these other children who are being socially promoted. What's your concern for your son in that environment as a father?
My concern would be that he would see that and see kids that don't have to work as hard and they're just handed everything, and think that he could do that too. That would be a huge concern I would have.
What do you do if you have to? What would you do to combat that if you had to deal with that? Like if he came home and said, well, Bobby doesn't have to study. Like, what would you do?
I would take away the PlayStation.
So again, I think that's where, because we are Gen X, and we are raising small children, we are raising the next Gen X generation. And you know us, Reese, we sit down and we have those hard conversations with our children, and that would just be a conversation we would have with him, letting him know, hey, that kid might have parents that don't care, but you have parents that care, and you're going to do your homework or you're grounded.
It's funny because I look at these kids today, and let me can I tell you what's going on a personal level? So our teenager, who Ellis, he is getting ready to graduate from high school, and he just got accepted into Citadel of all schools. Well, and that's a huge deal, right? So imagine, Dave and Apple, when I get a phone call where he says, I'm going to take a year off and not go to Citadel. Okay? Now, if that were Abby or Gunnar, what would be your response if that were they get accepted into Citadel?
I would lose my mind.
Number one, I do believe that he's graduating early, correct? So he's not 18 yet.
No, he isn't.
I am a firm believer that until you're 18, you are the responsibility of your parent. And in that case, I would look at Gunnar and say, I'm sorry, you're not 18 yet. You're going to college. You're going to make something of yourself. You're going to make everybody realize how smart and how special you are. And then when you turn 18 and you decide that you don't want to be special anymore, it will break my heart, but that will be your decision.
Yeah, and of course, I'm trying to tell the kid that, you know what, I may not have a retirement, and somebody's got to take care of me when I get old. So he's got to go.
That's what I need, Reese. I need that, and that's
See,
why he's an Eagles fan. He loves football. Maybe he could play for the Eagles because, I would be devastated if he was drafted by the Jets.
You see, that's how mean-spirited Dave is, and he's not a friend. So Apple, let's talk about. No, I'm kidding. So you guys
This is why Dave gets unfriended.
Yes, exactly, because of course he rags on it. And don't think, by the way, if you think that's horrible, Dave is a Dolphins fan. Just so we get it out there, okay? Huge Dolphin fan. So you guys are doing another episode. I know you guys are covering, or at least talking a little bit about the story with Ashley Ortiz, the young lady here in Hartford, Connecticut, who graduated without knowing how to read or write. She graduated with honors, and then gets to UConn, and she gets embarrassed. Let me ask you this as parents. And I know, again, you don't have to deal with this, but this is one of the things that I'm having some problems with, and I'd love to hear your take on this, both of you.
Sure.
The one thing that I noticed that was odd was that here is a lawsuit where this young lady could possibly win $3 million in a lawsuit with the school board or with the school system here in Hartford, Connecticut. And the lawyer is looking for other parents who may have been victims of this, I guess, educational crime, but no one's coming forward. And it almost seems to me, and you tell me what your take is as parents, I almost feel like there are parents who refuse to join in because they run the risk of, one, having to admit that their children weren't capable of graduating on their own and had to kind of get this cheat sheet and are just going to take the diploma and run. Do you think that that's a factor in it, or do you think there's something else at play?
So here's my thought. I don't think it's because they're afraid that everybody's going to find out that they have a stupid kid. I think that they're afraid that everybody's going to find out that their stupidity allowed this to happen.
Oh. So you think it's a personal, like they're taking the onus of themselves, saying that they allowed their kids to go through school, like they, by not keeping up on their kids' schooling, that they in fact were duped as well.
Exactly.
Dave, what about you?
Reese, I think that there's a lot of parents nowadays, and I see this, they don't care. They don't care. They want everything handed to them. As we know, a lot of society does. They just think that everybody owes them something. And now maybe they're caught getting stuff handed to them, and they don't want to be in the public eye.
Yeah.
Or they don't want to put a stop to it. They just want
going along to get along, saying, hey, my kid got his diploma, you guys have at it. And I think there's a little bit of public shame in that if they do find out that their kids did not earn the diploma, because to a lot of people, getting that piece of sheepskin is a big deal to them. I
understand it is a huge deal for a lot of people. I know in my family, graduation rate was not up there. I'm the oldest of over 20 grandkids, and not all of us got that diploma. However, I find it really hard to believe that a child goes through school all the way through high school with honors, and they have no idea that they don't know how to read or write. Yeah. They didn't notice that this girl was doing talk text or whatever it was.
Yeah, talk to text on her reports. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I find it hard to believe that these parents had no idea what was going on.
And Reese, shame on the school system.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, just shame. And then I see, I hear about President Trump wanting to do away with the Department of Education. And I sit here and wonder, what does the Department of Education actually do? Do they do anything?
I'm going to forward you guys a video at the end of the show. After I do the show, I'm going to forward you a video from Project Veritas. They got an undercover video of somebody that works in the department. If you weren't enraged already at the Department of Education, you will be. I'm going to post it on my Facebook page. But you guys,
Okay.
I want to say thank you. Dave and Apple, their new podcast is already up. The first one is already aired. They air another one tomorrow. It's called Prepare to Unfriend. If you can't find it on YouTube, just go to reaseontheradio.com and just scroll down and you will see Prepare to Unfriend. Just click on that link and you can watch it yourself. Please subscribe to them, follow them, and show them your support. They are dear friends of mine, and they are embarking on something that many people would be afraid to do, but I'm so proud of them that they are joining this this medium, if you will. So thank you guys. I
Reese,
appreciate
can
you
I
coming
add
in.
something? Can I add
Real
something
quick.
Really, 2 seconds. I just want to remind everybody that we are new at this. It is very raw and very.
They don't care about that stuff, Apple. We trust you. Apple and Dave, Prepared to Unfriend. Go find them at reaseontheradio.com. Now let's get another check of your traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. If you're on the westbound side of 84, look for delays now. Bulkley Bridge, and it stays tight out to exit 46 Sisson Avenue. Eastbound side of 84, slowing 44 Prospect Oakwood up to 48 Capitol Avenue. On the southbound side of 91, little slow traffic in Hartford 33 down to 32 A and B. Tight again, 28 down to 26 Marsh Street. We have a very minor vehicle fire at the bottom of the exit 26 Marsh Street off-ramp, so you'll see the state police and fire apparatus down there. Northbound 91 moving while Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 291, 384, that looks good east of the river. 2 eastbound moving while Glastonbury into Marlboro. Quiet Middletown. Westbound 84 slowing in Waterbury from exit 23 up to the Mixmaster. And if you're heading on the eastbound side of 84 in Newtown, some slow traffic approaching 10 up to exit 11. Southbound Parkway slows 60 in Hamden into the West Rock Tunnel, and 95 southbound delays 46 to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8 WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Thursday, cold with sun and turning cloudy. The high of 30. You'll feel like it's in the 20s with that breeze out of the north-northwest. The breeze will pick up tonight for us. Otherwise, it'll be cloudy and quite cold with the low down to 18. Now, windy for us on Friday with a mix of clouds and sun. The high 31's going to feel like it's in the teens and low 20s at best much of the day with the northwest winds at 15 to 25 miles an hour. Then Friday night, still breezy, otherwise clear to partly cloudy. Colder, the low down to 11. A partly sunny day on Saturday. The winds will subside some, the high up to 35. Then on Sunday, partly sunny, the best day of the weekend with the high moving up to 40. Monday, turning cloudy, the high right back to 40 degrees for us. Then Tuesday, cloudy with a little rain in the afternoon. It'll be damp, raw, and cold feeling with the high of 44 for us on Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
5:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva. West Hartford police are investigating after shots were reported fired in a part of town this afternoon. Just before 4, the call came in to 450 New Park Avenue. Officers found evidence of gun damage. No injuries have been reported, but the area remains closed for now for the investigation. State police announcing the arrest of a man in connection with a homicide from nearly 4 years ago. 35-year-old Timothy Lang charged in the death of 39-year-old Jason Combs on August 5th of 2021. His body was discovered in a wooded area in a vehicle near Durkee Road in Summers. Investigation determined that Lang, a member of the Outlaws motorcycle gang, fired a shot that killed the victim. He now faces felony murder and other charges. State Inspector General says jail officers should have paid more attention to a woman who died in the Hartford Detention Center last year. 49-year-old Linda Prelo was arrested on April 5th. She apparently experienced detox symptoms from fentanyl use in her cell 2 days later. PURA Chair Marissa Gillette appeared before a legislative committee today for confirmation another term as chair of the state's regulatory authority. A deal was brokered last night that will see that authority become a quasi-public agency and also see 2 additional commissioners added to the body. Duracell has announced it is moving its research and development headquarters from Bethel to Atlanta. Battery maker cites a desire for modern workspaces and advanced technology infrastructure. And the Senate voted today to confirm Kash Patel as the director of the FBI. Vote 51 to 49. 2 Republicans voted no. Wall Street, the Dow lost 450 points today. The NASDAQ shed 93, and the S&P down 26. Hockey, it's the Four Nationals final tonight between Canada and the U.S. in Boston. Face-off is 8. NBA back at it after the long All-Star break. Celtics in Philly. Knicks at the Garden take on the Bulls, and the Nets at Barclays host Cleveland. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. For over 3 decades, Cordell & Cordell has been on the front lines of family law. Divorce is more than just a legal process. It's a life-changing event that can impact your future, finances, and your relationship with your children. You've worked hard to build a life that you're proud of, and you deserve a legal partner who will work just as hard to protect it.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Hartford area attorneys. Phyllis McCutcheon, licensed in Connecticut. Online at CordellCordell.com.
The Connecticut Flower and Garden Show returns to the Convention Center in Hartford, February 20th through 23rd. Step out of winter and into an oasis of beautifully landscaped gardens. Breathe in the aroma of spring as you stroll through floral displays. Learn from gardening experts presenting over 80 hours of educational seminars. Get discount tickets at ctflowershow.com. February 20th through 23rd.
At California Psychics, we know that when you haven't found love, it feels like everyone else has. Every movie has a love interest. Every song is a love song. Where are all the songs about cats? Well, the joy of early bedtime. And of course, the PDA. Looking for love sucks. California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to help you find
30 seconds.
We connect you with the very best. In fact, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. That's why we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now.
In 10.
It's for just $20. So you could be feeling all lovey-dovey real soon. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
I don't want to say anything, but it's our birthday. I'm sure you knew that already, and I'm sure you've got a wonderful present. 100 years, by the way.
Yeah, what exactly would you get us? That's an interesting gift. I don't know what I'd give anybody at 100 years old. Is it paper? No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Reese on the radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Apple, for joining us. They will be with us off and on Thursdays to talk about what they're talking about on their podcast. And get their perspective on a lot of the education stuff that's going on in and around the country, if not the state. It is a very, very important time for education in our country. And we're going to talk to parents and about that and how they're being affected. A lot of people are afraid to talk to us about what's going on in the education system. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to pay attention to the story. By the way, a lot of good stuff in the chat rooms. I don't want anybody to think I'm not paying attention. Some of your sandwich ideas are awful. By the way, Jason Katarina, thanks, man. Thanks for the support with the Reese's Pieces. I appreciate you. I don't know why I asked, but I did. And he called it gross, by the way, but I appreciate him telling the truth, the honest-to-God truth. Some of the other suggestions in here was, what was it? Peanut butter and oh, yeah, sorry. This sandwich for the Reese's sandwich would be pastrami, roast beef, ham, and Swiss on a rye bagel. Call it the Reese Roundup. I would call it the Reese Coronary with all of that stuff in it. This was interesting. Zappa Creek, who is listening all the way 3,000 miles away in Phoenix, says that he is listening to, I guess, KFNX, and they are bashing William Tong big time on their network about his lawsuit against Trump. So, William Tong, you made it. You made it. You're national now. You're national. Craig says public schools will always be always crater to the lowest common denominator. Private is the opposite. Like a business, if you're the smartest in the room, you're in the wrong room. I couldn't agree more. That's what I've always been this person who's been ragging on the education system. People think there's like, oh, you're ragging on teachers. I'm like, no, we're ragging on education. By the way, after the show, I will post that video that Project Veritas put together of one of the, one of the employees inside the Board of Ed. What's interesting is they know Doge is inside the Board of Education. This person is caught on hidden camera talking about how staffers at the Board of Education are secretly communicating with one another on other streaming or other app services like Signal, I think it's called, to communicate with one another because everything that they're doing is being scrutinized. Let me tell you one hint. There's a great part of this video you're gonna watch, is that whatever Doge is doing, they put in a computer software that analyzes every keystroke on every computer in the building. Every keystroke. So whatever's been going on in there, they're going to find out through this software. I'm sorry, that technology seems scary and exciting all at the same time. By the way, if you're in that industry, please call me or contact me because I want to know how that works. Let's get another check of our traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Can you believe that, Mark? A software that you can upload on a computer system and you can analyze every keystroke. So if you don't find the email, you can find the stuff that they deleted.
Wow.
Is that wild? That's what Doge is using inside all of these offices now. This scrutiny of the government system is down to the keystrokes.
Well, hopefully it'll get a lot more efficient. I mean, that's all you can hope for.
I know, but I'm amazed at the technology, right? I'm going.
Oh my God, yeah.
You can put up in a software that can say everything that I've ever looked up. You know? Oh man.
Yeah.
Like in my head, I'm going, okay, what have I searched in the last month?
Probably, yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, we're talking just on your work computer,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. They're going on their work computer, and they have this downloaded software that goes through every keystroke.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. It's just as long as it's on my personal computer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. At that point, I wouldn't even bring my cell phone into work.
That would not be good. If you are heading into downtown Hartford right now, 84 eastbound, you're looking at delays. 44 Prospect Oakwood into the tunnel. Westbound 84 is tied up. Approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. Southbound 91 delays. 33 down to 32 A and B. And again, 27 down to 28. Now, look out at the bottom of the exit 26 off-ramp. We had a minor vehicle fire down there. It looks like state police and the fire department is down there right now. The ramp is open, but use caution moving through there. If you are traveling into Middletown right now, that looks good. 90 in the Aragodi Bridge. Waterbury's a little slow. Westbound 84 from 23 in Waterbury up to the Mixmaster. South 95 slows 46 to 44. South on the Parkway, some slow traffic as you move between 60 in Hamden and the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Cloudy, breezy, and cold tonight. The low dropping down to 18. Then it becomes windy as we head into Friday with clouds and sun. The high 31 is going to feel like upper teens and low 20s at best with the strong northwest winds. Heading into Saturday, the winds will subside for us. Partly sunny, the high of 35. A little bit of a warm-up heading into Sunday. Partly sunny, the high up to 40. Monday, 40 again, though it'll be turning cloudy for us. Then Tuesday, cloudy, a little rain in the afternoon, the high up to 44. Right now, it's 21 in Waterbury, 28 in Mansfield, 25 in Bristol, and 28 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Do you have plans this weekend to head to New York? Whether you take I-95 or the Merritt, you're bound to get stuck in traffic. Come visit us at Columbia Implant Center instead. One day, same day, 7 days a week. Visit ColumbiaImplantCenter.com.
Hey, it's Tom Shattuck. So I've been talking to you about Awaken 180 weight loss for a couple of years now. You've heard about my success, and many of you embarked on your own Awaken 180 journey, including my friend Phil, who decided it was time for him to finally lose the weight.
As I got older, I really finally figured out that I needed to drop some weight. First, I had a phone call, really nice young lady named Gina. So when I arrived, She was there to greet me. And then she took me over to the scale, which also measured body mass index. We talked about the program. She asked me a lot of questions about my lifestyle, what a typical day looks like.
Okay, so it's been a week now, Phil. You popped in yesterday for your weekly visit, and how did it go?
So when I got weighed in, I had lost 11.8 pounds, and I was just thrilled. Like, oh my gosh, this is tremendous.
11.8 pounds. Wow. We'll talk to you next week again, Phil. You can begin your weight loss journey as well. 844-346-1800 or get them online at awaken180weightloss.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IR. Be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at Call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
We're about to get up out of here. Don't forget, tomorrow being Friday.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
Airing of Grievance Friday, or every Friday here on News Talk 1080 WTIC. And we're also going to do the Reese on the Radio question of the day. I was inspired by Matt in Bristol because one day he had asked something I thought was, he asked me something in my personal chat message, and I thought that was interesting. He always had these weird questions to ask me about something that somebody said. And I went, you know what? I do like that idea of question of the day and sort of get everyone else to respond to them. So we're going to do it roughly at about 4 o'clock. We're not getting rid of the stupidest thing I read today because we'll still have that at about 4:30. But we're going to do the question of the day at about 4:05. Now let's get to the phones so we can get up out of here. Let's begin with Jamie, who's in Middlefield. Thank you, Jamie, for holding on. How are you?
Very well, Reese. Thank you. So don't forget Reese Trailer Hitches. There's
That's right.
In New York City, there used to be a restaurant group called Reese's Restaurant.
That's
that had
right.
like every fast food thing going on. There's another one, but I forgot. Anyway, I love the food talk, by the way. I used to do a food talk show on the same microphone you're on.
Okay.
Back in the day, it was called The Dining Hour with Chef Jamie and Chef Paul.
Okay.
But anyway, that was a good time. Janine would probably know about it. However, what inspired me to call was the lovable Tim is his name. Is that correct?
Yes, Tim in Hampton.
A little while ago? Okay. So he was talking about the hospitality industry and the tips and the no tax on overtime. And I started thinking, I'm like, wow, 1985, young kid making $3.37 an hour here in Connecticut. Whoa, I got a raise to $5 an hour.
Yeah.
Whoa. And then I can work more than 40 hours and make $7.50 an hour. Cha-ching, I'm thinking. And then it came to a point when I got to about 70 hours a week because it was so busy in the restaurant business. You could work as many hours, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But then I started looking at my check. I'm like, wait, this isn't right. Once you get up to 65 hours, you almost penalize yourself. I just didn't understand it. That actually shaped the way I think about things. And that brings me to my Silent Cal 100 years ago. You're celebrating 100 years, Silent Cal Coolidge.
Yeah.
He used, instead of Twitter, he used press releases, and the newspapers would print his quotes.
Of course.
So 100 years ago, he said, I want the people of America to be able to work less for the government, to have the rewards of their own industry. That is the chief meaning of freedom. That is nothing new. A lot of economists believe that all freedom is financial, and I so believe that. But, when you think about how people get a leg up in this world, usually your first job is something to do in the hospitality business.
That's right.
And if you can get a leg up by that way, I don't know what is a greater opportunity for freedom when you think about it.
Yeah.
To say that's not a good thing, my heavens, that's a win-win. And by the way, for all those that love people to serve them, you're going to get better service because there's more incentive to give better service. you're going to have a less of a hard time finding employees because they might actually be able to keep their hard. It's really hard work to do that.
It's so
Anybody who's
true.
a server-
Everything you just said there, Jamie, is exactly right. For those people, remember, what you get out of it, you always see more into it, right? So if there's no taxes on those tips, right, and there's no taxes on those overtimes, those industries that normally would be looked frowned upon, or the industries that we can't get kids to join them because they're entry-level positions, right? We're now going to have people seek those jobs who are willing to do no tax on tips. Imagine what people would do now in order to get those tips. There would be an extra glass of water. There would be an extra lemon in your water. There would be so much coming from it.
Ultimately, it's sort of a thing that will pay for itself, because if you're incentivized to work more hours, yes, the government will get a little bit more of your tax money, but not a lot. But it pays for itself. So I don't know, any tax that costs more to collect than it generates, it's just not even worth it.
Exactly. Makes no sense.
But it's amazing how it shaped my life. And I'm sure you're in the same category.
Exactly.
Where I've learned about your early life. It's really awesome. So thank you for everything, Reese. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jamie. Much appreciate the call, sir. Let's go down the line here. Mike is in Plainville. How we doing, sir?
I'm telling you, John Larson reminds me of one of those old pillows in an old Victorian museum mansion. And you go there, then you go there again 10 years later, and the same pillow sitting there collecting dust. Then you go back 20, 30 years, and it's still there.
I don't know what like I said, I don't know what he's talking about. He's got a record that clearly is listen, just alone with that ridiculous bill that he signed off on and celebrated and still keeps on his website, the Inflation Reduction Act, that of course has led us to the place that we're in now, talking about how a guy 4 weeks in needs to solve a problem that he created. It is laughable at best. So again, that's the reason why Larson will never come on a show like mine, because it's not because I'm not fair. It's because I'm not interested in being fair. I'm interested in holding people accountable.
Your battles with Tim are already legendary, I'm telling you.
Well, guess what? We'll see. We'll see whether or not I get him 6 months without talking about politics. By the way, somebody in the chat room said, Mike, that not only can he not talk about politics anywhere, they said he can't even put one of those political signs on his lawn for 6 months.
This is the reason why I listen to your program, because of callers like Mark from West Hartford and Joe from Simsbury. And is there a Joe in New Hampshire?
Yes, but I love them all. Every one of them, like I said, they're a part of the show.
It's like 50-50. I love the callers, and you're the other half.
Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Let's go to Dave, who's in Brantford. How we doing, Dave?
Yeah, brief hit. All day on the news, they've talked about the union and Stop and Shop having a warehouse union problem.
Yeah.
And apparently Stop and Shop wants to, in quotes, cut pay and health care benefits. And the union has announced a blatant union busting action by Stop and Shop. I want to just relay, that is not illegal. I am a blatant anti-union person. I think they are guilty, generally, of strong-arm extortion tactics. I know my wife was part of a union union negotiating effort at a parking garage in a big metropolitan hospital, and mysteriously her front wheel fell off on the way home one day.
Oh my goodness.
I can't prove that a union loosened those bolts. But man,
but okay, so are you against the tactics of the Stop and Shop union, or?
Absolutely. No,
okay.
What I'm against is the freedom of speech to be anti-union.
Oh, dude, you're in the right.
It's natural that management is hostile to the union. I mean, they're adversaries.
A lot of people don't understand that, though, because of the romanticizing of unions. You know, are there good unions? Of course. Are there good people in unions? Yes. Look, no doubt. But they are adversarial to the business, and that's the and they make it clear.
Their press release, the Stop and Shop, is blatant union busting. Well, as long as it's legal and you conform to National Labor Relations Board rules,
Yeah.
then you're entitled to be blatantly anti-union.
Yeah, of course.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me make it.
Always pleasure, sir. Always a pleasure. Lee got, before we go to him, let's go to Craig. Hey, Craig.
I already got my bagels, dude.
I know,
Don't
that's
need 'em.
why I put you first. What do you got?
So let's talk about tips and hacks.
Okay.
All right. Do you do Uber and Lyft a lot?
My wife used to.
All right. I'll give you a hack. So I booked a trip. I was on a business trip, and I booked a trip with Uber,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a one-way trip. And when I got to my destination, I said, hey, can you hang here and give me a ride back? I'll book another trip. And the Uber driver said, no, don't book another trip. Just tip me the same amount that the trip was, because Uber, if you book the trip, gets 80%, and I get 20%. But if you tip me the same amount, I get 100%.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
I did not know that.
You will get the best Uber trips you ever had in your life.
Oh, Uber's going to totally call it. They're going to call us up and they go, you can't be telling people that.
Well, I just did. Ciao.
That's fine. Thank you, boss man. I appreciate you. I really do. And our last but not least caller is Lenny in Avon. How we doing, Lenny? You are our recipient of a dozen bagels a month for 6 months. How we doing, sir?
Oh, geez. I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. I did not expect that. I just wanted to call about, I just wanted to say I've been listening since I was probably about, I'd say I can remember back to when I was like 5, 6 years old.
Oh, okay.
With Rush Limbaugh on the radio. My grandfather used to listen to him every day, all day, and my grandfather is the one that raised me. So I just want to say you guys have been doing a phenomenal job since his passing, which is very detrimental to me, as long as I know a lot of other listeners that are out there. But what really got me calling today was I have 4 kids. My oldest one is 6. So when I heard all the talk and ramble about what's going on in Connecticut with the Board of Education, I just wanted to put my thoughts out there.
Sure.
And I'm nervous as hell. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, because your kids are about to join that fold.
Oh, what I have seen unfold these last, it seems like 4 to 5 years now, it's disgusting what I see what's going on, because I went to Avon schools, and when I graduated in 2011. When I went, when I was in middle school, so like 2008, 2009, we were one of the top schools when it came to testing. So like the CMPs and all that. And I saw the digression going from when I was in middle school all the way through to when I graduated in 2011, that you could see the education dropping off.
Yeah.
Because I was one of those kids that I was smart. I graduated with honors. But I had my classes, I can say this because a lot of parents out there probably are frustrated with it. I had classes you can see that I liked and classes I didn't.
Yeah, like any other teenager.
Exactly. And and that had a lot to do with the teacher, because I did not have a good teacher teaching me that subject, did not catch me. And it put a huge strain on what I liked, because math, science, and history I loved.
Yeah.
Because math and science explain the world. They explain everything around you. And if you can grasp that, you have a good teacher to get you there. And that's what we're lacking.
Yeah. And it's important. It's important for boys, because boys in this new education system that's failing, it fails boys more. It fails them.
Yes, it does.
I don't mean to cut you off,
Yes,
Lenny,
it
because
does.
we're literally at the close of the show. But I want to tell you this: if you ever go to ReeseOnRadio.com when you can, if you're not in the car, you're not driving. If you go to ReeseOnRadio.com and you ever watch the show live, over my right shoulder, and there's a reason why he's on my right shoulder, I have a microphone and the radio's greatest of all times, Rush Limbaugh's last book, written by his wife and his brother. sitting
I
over
already
me,
have it.
always sits on my right-hand side behind me because I call myself the illegitimate love child of Rush Limbaugh. So thank you for saying that because I'm, he just passed away 4 years ago, but the memorial of his passing was just 2 days ago. And as soon as I saw it, I immediately felt the same way I know you did, and that was missing the hell out of him.
Yes, sir. Yes, he's a big part of my life. He's the one that helped shape my mind and what I think. And now it might not be the right way, but I think it is the right way.
Oh no, it is. It is the right way.
Perceive the world.
The scary
part
is, Lenny, when you said that he shaped your mind, the liberals would turn around and said, "I told you, they're all mind-numb robots."
Oh, just like they do every day.
Exactly.
You know that.
Lenny, hold on. We'll get you the bagels. Folks, it's time for me to get up out of here. Great show. We had a blast. And we got more news and more views for you tomorrow on the airing of grievances. As I always say, radio is free. So we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on radio. You have a good night, pleasant tomorrow. We'll see you back here next time. Next, now go to my good friend Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center, and of course Jason Catarina in traffic, who doesn't like Reese's Pieces for some odd reason, as they get you home through this weather. Good night, Mark.
Hey, good night, Reese. Thanks. If you're heading into Hartford right now, 84 eastbound delays about a half mile before.
All right, good sir.
All right, buddy.
Up to 48,
I will see you tomorrow. Are you feeling better?
Yeah, well, I'm feeling good enough.
Avenue 90 with southbound. Look
Do you
out
have to
for
go
an
to the
accident
doctor?
on the right shoulder.
No, I didn't go to the doctor. I just was in bed for 2 days.
Goodness
28 on the
gracious.
Hartford weather
Fever?
station. Northbound.
Fever. Well, I was
Through downtown.
to not be disgusting. It was a situation.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
You be good.
All right.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
You're traveling south 95 New Haven, a little tight from 46 down to exit 44.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Michael A. Yeah, so do I. I've got the audio books just so I can hear him, Lori. I miss his voice, to be honest with you. I still have the old app on my phone, the Rush Limbaugh app. Yeah, and that book will, I'm going to keep that book there for the rest of my life, as long as I'm here. Thank you, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Be good to each other. And that's about it. See y'all.